Hi, I'm here. I was supposed to start stream like half an hour ago. Oh my god. Hello. Rosa, welcome. How are ya? Watching your stream makes me happy. Thanks. Oh my god. I never expected anyone to see that message. Wow. Anyway. So, for today's stream, I'm basically gonna continue drawing my gender bent me. I'm not gonna draw the mask. Not today. I'll finish that off stream, I guess. Again. Ha. Well, continue, I meant. Continue. God, I am so underprepared. I need to like take out my drawing tablet and stuff. Hold on. I'll try different versions and stuff. But right now my head is kinda like not in the right place. I don't mean anything bad by that. I mean like I'm kinda scatterbrained right now. Shit. I need to pull that up real quick. Hold on. Which one is it? Which one is my model again? It's not this. It's this one. There we go. Yeah, it's this one. Okay. Hold on. Okay. What the hell is... What the fuck? Okay. Okay, I'm figuring it out. Stop the music. Oh, I mean, we're at the end of the song anyway. So basically what I need to do... Hold on. Which one do I need to enable again? I think it's not this one. This one. Yes, this one. But where is this? What about... Is it this one? Yeah, it is. Okay, so basically I'm gonna start drawing and I'm pretty much gonna... Actually, hold on, let me pull out some docs real quick. Hold on. It's not this. It's... Hold on. Live docs. Activity feed. Pull that up. Why is that working? Oh, well, it is what it is. Anyway, what am I doing? So we'll just continue. First of all, we're gonna continue with the Apple Vision Pro because I'm kind of interested in like whatever this dystopian nightmare thing that Apple is making. And while we do that, I'm gonna bring this down here, bring this here, do this.
I love this thing. Not because it's flawless or anything. It is far from flawless. But because it's actually interesting.
Hold on.
Like, don't forget, the last 2-3 years of Apple product review comments are just, that's boring. Oh, it's just a spec bump. There's nothing really new here. Oh, they hardly change anything or try anything new these days. But this thing is interesting. It's risky, and most of all, it's new. Now, it's actually not fundamentally new. It's a VR headset, but it's new for Apple, and there are a bunch of things in here that are new in a way that only Apple would try. And just as interesting as this individual product is the possible future that this implies. Like, when you get a first-generation product like this, you sort of automatically assume that there are goals for its future, that it'll have another generation and another one after that, and that there is some goal for what this will turn into 10 years.
It's drawing very nice, has for it. Always. Thanks. I need to figure out the hair because I know for a fact that I can't draw hair.
And on top of all of that, as far as I know, Apple has never released any other first-generation product with the word Pro already in the name, which comes with a whole nother set of implications.
So where's the Apple Vision? Where is the original? Why is the Pro here? Damn it.
Let's get into it.
But I don't know. I don't see any like actual use for this. So I have no idea.
So I might be one of the 20 people outside of Apple who has been using the Vision Pro.
Literally no one is buying this except for like the rich assholes or tech reviewers.
With multiple Macs, in different setups, different rooms, indoors and outdoors, lightness and darkness. There are parts of this thing that are absolutely amazing, unparalleled, best I've ever seen. But the reason it's so interesting is because it's actually new, and there are downfalls and flaws and trade-offs that come alongside all of that stuff. So at the end of the last video, I gave you guys a sort of a preview of my pros and cons list. If you haven't already watched that video, it is definitely worth watching.
Let's study the hair.
To this one, it is the 30-minute monster, all about how to use this thing, how it works, what's inside, what it's capable of. And then at the end, I got to my upsides, which are immersiveness, placement in space, eye tracking and hand control.
Was it this one?
Ecosystem.
It's gotta be this one, right?
Audio, and the downsides, which are weight and comfort, the eyes on the outside, app selection right now, battery life, and price. So okay, for starters, I want to amend
No, it's not this
to
brush.
fidelity. I think that's more accurate here. I have used
I need to look
a
at
bunch
like more
of different
brushes.
VR
That's
headsets now, and
I don't
this
know.
Vision Pro has
What other
the
brush is good?
sharpest, best looking micro OLED display.
I mean,
out
it's
of all
just
of
this
them.
one.
The
I
size of
can only
individual
think of this
pixels on
one,
these
but
displays is
I am so
7.5
horrible at like
microns,
the pen
which means
thickness.
You could fit 64 of them in
Yeah,
the
the,
size of a
at
single
like
iPhone
doing the
screen's
pen
pixel.
thickness.
You
I guess
can't
I
see
can
individual
use this
pixels.
piece as a
There's
practice.
No screen door effect. It's awesome. The native refresh rate is 90 hertz, and it will crank up to 96 hertz when there's 24 FPS content playing to be an even multiple. And Apple says that they calibrate every single one of these Vision Pro displays from the factory for
Actually,
maximum
what is
color accuracy.
my
They're really
sensitivity?
good. And this
Okay,
is a
it
big
is
reason
max.
why
No
This
wonder.
headset is so expensive. But then, and this is going to be a recurring theme here, the Vision Pro runs up against the technology of today not being quite advanced enough to accomplish what they were probably hoping as ideal. So in the case of these screens, right, they're amazing. There are so many pixels, but because there's so many pixels, the computer inside
I don't like this
cannot
part right
actually
here.
render everything in high resolution all
It's
the
kind
time
of like
at
it
90
goes like
hertz. So instead,
this
it
way,
does something clever.
which doesn't make
Combines
sense.
the
It's supposed to
insanely
go this
fast
way,
eye
so
tracking with what's called
like,
foveated rendering.
it should be
meaning
something
it's only
like
actually rendering in high resolution exactly what you're looking at when you're looking at it. The rest
that,
is
I guess.
soft and fuzzy. That actually works really well because that's exactly how our eyes work. It's really clever. Like, you don't think about it, but the thing that you're looking at the moment is sharp, but then the rest of your peripheral vision is soft and fuzzy, and that's fine. So really now, all of the computing work is being done to track your eyes as fast as possible so that there's no lag between when you look at something and when it becomes sharp. Fun fact, you can actually see this in screen recordings from the Vision Pro. You can see the piece of the screen that I'm looking at is sharp, and then everything else around it, even parts of the same window, are fuzzy on purpose. But to my eye, that looks totally natural because I'm focusing on one thing at a time. I found that you can also screen record with developer mode in Xcode, and that'll make the clips 4K.
I'm guessing that's for
and
like
it'll
the
render
cost
everything
efficiency.
in
No, not
HD
cost
all at once,
efficiency, but
every
like
time I did
resource
that,
efficiency,
it would
I
be
guess.
choppy, and scrolling would be slow and jittery. And I'm thinking
Like
that's just because
optimization
computers aren't
and
really used to
not make
rendering
everything like
everything
burn
high quality all the
batteries.
time. So it looks like a higher quality recording, but the second I did any scrolling, it didn't look as good, so I just didn't use those recordings as often. So the screens are great. The position tracking of objects in space are great. The eye tracking is incredibly good. The one ding against immersion on the Vision Pro, though, and not a lot of people are talking about this, but it's the field of view. See, the first few times you use this headset, you don't even really think about it that much. You're so distracted by all the fun and the newness and how cool it is that your eyes are controlling the thing. But eventually you start to poke around the edges, and it turns out, you know how people are saying it kind of looks like ski goggles from the outside? Well, it also kind of looks like ski goggles from the inside a little bit too. Again, the middle is super sharp and incredibly impressive, but if I can do my best here through a YouTube video, the edges of the headset are a little bit further in than the edges of your vision, and so there's a little bit of like a cone effect going on, and there's some chromatic aberration around the outside. So you kind of have this slight feeling of looking into a large tunnel at everything. There are actually no field of view numbers published by Apple anywhere about Vision
Actually,
Pro
I
as
think
far as
it's
I can
best
tell,
if I
and
start
kinda think
from
that's on
here.
purpose because I have
Yeah.
noticed from using them both that the Quest 3 has a better, wider field of view just looking inside the headset. So if I could change one thing about the Vision Pro to make it more immersive, it would be a wider field of view, no question. Vision Pro has the best pass-through of any headset I've ever used. That much is super clear to me. And weirdly enough, this doesn't actually surprise me either. Maybe because this is one of the products that makes it so obvious that they're thinking a lot about the future. Like Apple talks a lot about AR and how they want things to just be clear and just overlaying things onto your real world. But with today's technology, again, that's not quite possible yet. So instead, they have a VR headset, but they are using the highest quality camera feeds possible and the highest quality displays on the inside possible.
Gotta make do with what you have, I suppose.
Almost feel like you're looking through it at the real world. So you put this headset on, and the first thing you see is pass-through. I mean, you might as well call it transparency mode. And the sharpness and the colors and the very low latency are all so good that I really don't experience any eye fatigue no matter how long I am in this pass-through mode. Despite my eyes being inches from these screens, I can interact with the real world around me, pick things up and look at them. I can walk around between rooms.
I mean, to be fair, it's kind of like looking through like a pair of glasses.
At me, and I could just catch them. I played table tennis successfully with.
You want to finish the drawing today? There's a very low chance I can finish the drawing today because I'm trying to figure out how to draw hair like the most efficient way, you know?
That's from the outside light hitting the outside sensors to the inside image being.
So I really don't know if I can finish it.
That's incredibly fast.
But I'm learning the hair.
And that includes the exposure time of the
shading is actually easy for like the body and stuff. I'm just worrying about the hair because I still don't know how to draw hair.
Verge has put it, it's still cameras and screens. Like the technology of today isn't magic, so you still have to expose a camera sensor and set ISO and shutter speed, etc. And you can kind of play around with this a bit just by looking around like at bright objects or high dynamic range environments. And you know what? For the variety of situations I've thrown at this thing, it's handled it very impressively the whole time. Mostly prioritizing smoothness and high shutter speeds at the expense of cranking up the ISO and getting way more noise, especially in darker environments. But you can still see stuff like the hand occlusion break sometimes or look really janky when you put your hand in front of something.
I can see that.
You can still see objects start to float a little bit more in X, Y, and Z space when you're in much lower lighting as opposed to the usual perfect position. Again, it's the best I've ever seen with today's tech, but it definitely still has a long way to go.
That's what I figured.
So honestly, the ecosystem is, I would say, the strongest argument for a regular person going out and buying today's version of the Vision Pro. Like I every time a new big product comes out or whatever, I get like texts from people. Oh, hey Marquez, you know, I know you already made like a 30-minute video about it and like unboxed it and did all that, but like, what do you really think about the Vision Pro? Like, is it good enough? Should I get one?
No.
And truthfully, probably not, but I will say that there are a good amount of things that I do specifically look forward to using for it, and most of those things are ecosystem related. So obviously there's the built-in apps, right?
I really
iMessage
like it's all review, but like how good the tech is, but like it's never about how useful the tech is, you know?
The headset that is best.
It's kind of like fucking NFT.
Apple ecosystem people. But
it's literally it's like
little
NFT
things too,
and
like
cryptocurrency.
So I can copy some text on my Mac or my iPhone and then hit paste and it shows up in the Vision Pro. But there's two really impressive ones to me for very different specific reasons. FaceTime and Mac Virtual Display. See, FaceTime is the most only Apple could ship this thing.
The one thing that I can like see
from
is
the cameras on the
that
front
have
of
a
the
use
headset
for
to the
for this
positional
Apple
tracking
Vision,
and
or
responsiveness of
I've
display
just called the
it's
VR
all
headset.
so
Like the
well
VR
thought
headset,
out that,
the only use that I
once
can
everyone on the
see
call gets
is
past the initial, like,
it's
what
literally
is
just
this?
FaceTime
The
and
moment
like
they
business
first
meeting and
see the
stuff, I
virtual
guess.
version of you, once they first get
So it's
past
not like for the
that,
norm, like I
then
said
it
last
actually
time,
kinda
yesterday.
slowly gets easier and it feels way more like a normal conversation than a normal FaceTime. And it trades the downside of not being able to hold up objects to your camera for a button that can switch to a real-time first-person view where you can use both hands instead of one. Does the audio from these speakers still bleed out into the rest of the world so anything over half volume is incredibly audible to everyone in the room around you? Yeah. But does it also still sound really, really impressive for not actually being real headphones? Yeah. But the other thing is Mac Virtual Display. This is my number one favorite feature of the Vision Pro, even over like watching movies and stuff. Now, first of all, yes, you can already do remote desktop viewing on something like a Quest 3. It's great. I love that too. But this one is way more interesting. So this is connecting to your Mac and then intaking and re-rendering a new virtual display for your Mac, not mirroring what's already being shown by your computer. So you can use your Mac with all of its existing controls you're already using with it, but make your new monitor literally as big as you want, and then you can open up simultaneous Vision Pro apps all around that Mac display and place them all around the room wherever you want, over the walls, floating in midair, pin them to other objects, whatever. You can go nuts. Now, is this perfect? No, there are definitely trade-offs. From even the little things like not being able to see your keyboard when you're in an immersive environment, to only being able to have a single virtual Mac monitor at a time, to always having to look where you're controlling. I keep telling you guys, there's definitely extra brain cycles involved here. But I do still think that despite all that, this is my number one favorite feature of this Vision Pro. The number one thing that you can buy it for and do that you couldn't do with any other Apple product. I mean, it's the difference between looking like this in a coffee shop or looking like this in a coffee shop. Pick your poison, I guess. I also had a moment where I was using the Vision Pro for a while and I had my Mac and some other monitors around me, and then I took it off.
I don't want to sound old, but like that picture earlier, like the two pictures that's compared, like I don't want to sound like a boomer, but man, the left one looks kind of stupid. Like, well, that's because, yeah, like I said, I'm not trying to justify, but the right one, like, hold on, let me go back.
Put the headset back on, it off, and then I went and did something, and then I came back, and before I put the headset back on, I looked up at the wall to where I
think it's okay.
Looking like this in a coffee shop, or looking like this in a coffee.
So yeah, like look, if you look at the two pictures right here, size. Like, I don't want to sound like a boomer, but the left one looks stupider than the right one because, well, even though they're both working, I know that they're both working on their own thing, you know, projects, whatever, but like, yeah, the left one just looks stupider than the right one, even though they're both the same thing, people working on their own thing. But yeah, it's only because we're conditioned to see the right one, and the left one is like, it's new and unfamiliar, so, you know. Anyway, alright, let's continue.
Coffee shop. Pick your poison, I guess. I also had a moment where I was using the Vision Pro for a while, and I had my Mac and some other monitors around me, and then I took it off, and then I went and did something, and then I came back, and before I put the headset back on, I looked up at the wall to where I thought a window was going to be, but I hadn't. I don't know if that says more about the headset or about me. But speaking of apps, we got to get into the weaknesses. And the app situation on Vision Pro right
There's
now
no apps.
is one of them. So this is the home screen of the Vision Pro. It has all.
Oh,
the
what
apps.
does it do? I mean, I guess it's not. It's more like it looks unfamiliar and dystopian. So I'd say that it looks stupid, but I guess it's not that stupid.
600 apps made for the Vision Pro. And that sounds like a lot at first, but then kind of not a lot. There are also the millions of other apps that are made for the iPad that are compatible.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Pro that will show up.
It's because it's unfamiliar
specifically for the the few apps that are showing up here are pretty incredible, and they all kind of
it's literally because of the unfamiliarity.
Take advantage of the 3D
but at the same time, it looks very dystopian.
The rest of the developers are also kind of still trying to figure out what to do with the 3D space in their own apps, or even if it makes sense to do anything at all beyond the normal iPad app. But at this point right now, today, I honestly believe that there are way more cool ideas about VR and AR experiences than there are actual apps. Now, don't get me wrong, there are some cool apps, and like I said, I've shown some in the past video, there are some more in this video, and there will be more that pop up every day. But have you seen that video of
140?
gamifying
Holy
vacuum
shit, yeah, you
cleaning so
should.
that you can actually
Only
cover
I
your
get to stay
entire
up
floor
late.
space like a game? It's not a real app, but if it was, it would be
See you
pretty
tomorrow.
sick, and I would totally
Probably
use it. Or maybe
not.
you've seen that other video of watching an
Because
F1 race in Vision Pro.
I don't
It
want to
is
stream on
so
Sunday
sick.
because
It's
I gotta
there's a
like
virtual
prepare to
track
go
overlaid
to
onto your
class
space so you can keep track of
on the next
everything
day.
happening
So
at
I'll probably
once,
see you like
plus the
Friday maybe.
times and, you know, smaller
next
video
week,
feeds
Friday
of the
next
battles
week.
around different points of the track. This looks genuinely better than the actual TV broadcast experience, but it's also not a real app yet. It's just a concept.
Okay, yeah,
And I've seen all
next-
kinds
yeah.
of other stuff, and
Yeah,
I want
too
to
bad.
watch an NBA game courtside in the Vision Pro too, but that experience doesn't seem to exist yet either.
Good night. See
Whatever
ya.
it is about
Thanks for
like,
stopping by.
Apple jumping into this new space
Appreciate
and all the
it.
implications
Appreciate
of like,
it.
okay, the tech is gonna start to get better now. This sort of unlocked this new creative layer for people to dream of
Appreciate
new
it.
AR and VR experiences, and it'll be up to developers to actually make that stuff happen over time.
Actually, let me double check my
Constraints of
phone
today's technology. But as of
because
right now,
I saved
not
a
lot of apps.
few
Also,
pictures.
no YouTube app, no Netflix app. There's
Yeah, I
no
saved a few
Spotify
I
app,
saved a
there's
few
no
references.
TikTok
I really
app.
should do some references. Like I
hope
should
that Apple
like
can
use
sort
more
of patch up the
references.
relationship with these developers, because getting
Is
those
it
apps
art?
will make this
I think it's
a
art,
better
right?
product.
Hold
But
on.
as of right now,
I saved it
it's
on
definitely
Instagram.
useless
Hold on.
This first gen product. All right, I'm not the only one who's been saying this, but this is not the most comfortable headset. And I figured out why. So first of all, everyone's mentioned the weight, and it's true. It does weigh like 25%
I don't-
more than
I'm
a
not
lot
seeing
of other
it.
headsets. Like take the Quest 3 for example, probably the most popular one, familiar to most people. That's mostly plastic, and it weighs 515 grams. So Vision Pro,
I'm not seeing it.
being made of metal and having all this glass, weighing in at nearly 650 grams, it kind of seems like Apple just didn't care about the weight. But I don't think that's the case. Matter of fact, if you've seen the teardowns or if you've seen what's inside this little computer here on your face, this is built incredibly efficiently. There's carbon fiber in here, magnesium, all sorts of other lightweight materials. Now there's still lots of obvious heft on it, but 25% more weight shouldn't be the difference between comfortable and like I need to do neck exercises. No, the problem is this strap. This is the Solo Knit strap. This is the strap that's in.
Let me
all
guess,
the
it's
commercials
heavy.
that everybody
That's
sees.
the only
It's on
heavy thing.
Apple's website. It's in all the Apple stores because it looks so cool. And I think when Apple was probably first deciding, okay, we're going to get into this VR headset market, how do we differentiate ourselves? We've got to reinvent a few things, like the input method and all this stuff. I think they thought the strap had to be one of them, and that's how we got this thing. And I think Dave 2D was spot on in his recent video. VR headsets just kind of all look dumb, and the straps on them are all so universally lame looking. And this strap is just so much cooler. You put it on.
I'm gonna disagree right there because they all look the same to me. Whether or not you have a cool strap or like a regular VR headset, unless it's like from a game or something where like the design is epic as hell, then no, I'm not seeing how cool this is.
Iconic and actually be functional. This is sick. But when you
It's
put it
not
on,
sick. I'm not
you sort
seeing
of
it.
tighten it up against the front of your face, and it's squeezing it up against your face, all of the weight up at the front against basically these two pressure points, right above your eyes and right on your cheeks. And the more you tighten it to prevent light leak, the more uncomfortable it gets, and it's so hard to wear this for more than about 30-45 minutes. After 45 minutes, I really do need to take this off. So it's not your neck as much as it's just all the pressure on the front of your face. And Apple knows this, and that's why they've included in the box this second band. This is the dual loop band, and it's super easy to pop this one off and pop this one on. Now, it's not as cool looking as the Solo Knit band, and it's going to mess up your hair more than the Solo Knit band, and it's not as easy to adjust as a Solo Knit band. You're literally like trying to find and attach Velcro blindly at the top of your head. Basically, it's almost as lame looking as every other VR headset strap, but it turns out they all look like this for a reason, and oh my god, is it so much better for wearing it for a long time. I just recently did the last episode of the Waveform podcast.
I mean, yeah, it's I mean, go figure. It's why it's designed that way, you know?
And I could never have done that with the Solo Knit band. And that's because it's taking a ton of the pressure off of the front of your face and taking the weight and using the top of your head to support it instead. It's so much better. So if you're gonna just hand the headset to someone to use it for like 5 minutes, the Solo Knit band is great because it's super quick, doesn't mess up their hair, easy to adjust, boom. But if you plan on using this thing for an extensive period of time, yeah, the dual loop band is 100% the way to go. So I don't know if the eyes on the outside of this headset are actually accomplishing what Apple probably wanted them to accomplish. I think this,
It
again,
looks
comes
so
down
bad.
to
It's
what we
looking so bad. I don't know how to
expect
draw
Vision Pro
this.
to be in the future. See-through
Where if I
glasses.
take a look at, like,
Way
I
down
don't
the
know,
line.
some thumbnail?
But
Maybe
that's
Scatter
obviously
Faith
not possible
from
with
Galaxy
today's tech,
Collapse.
so the closest we can
Maybe
get
it got some
is
good art.
a lenticular display
Scattered
that shows your
Faith.
eyes to the outside world, and so that you can see them and they
Hold on,
can
not this
kinda see you.
window.
I don't
This
know. At
window
this point, I've
is
tried my eyes, but also everyone else here at the studio has also scanned themselves in and tried eyesight, and it's just not very visible. Like the smooth glass
Scattered
of the headset
Faith.
is so incredibly reflective that there's almost always some light bouncing off it in a way that makes
Hold
your eyes
on.
hard to see. And even if you can see it, it's pretty low resolution thanks to the lenticular display. And the bottom line is it doesn't actually feel like eye contact most of the time, which is very different from what you might have seen
So
in the
image
ads,
us.
especially
Let's
for
see.
darker skin tones. And I was actually thinking about this. Like, this is so far from what I think I expected that I was wondering, does Apple in the next generation Vision Pro
This.
double down on
this,
eyesight, or do they get rid of
Yeah,
it?
reference.
And I think they have to keep it. Like, it's such an iconic
go.
part of the headset that everyone's expecting it to stay. So it's
Oh,
gonna
it's
be there, but
so pixelated.
also, this is Vision
Fucking
Pro,
bitch.
and I think that implies that we're gonna get Apple Vision at some point down the road, which is like a less expensive version of this. And with that, do you take out eyesight, or does that still appear in the lower end version? I don't know. Only time will tell. So, all right, look, at the end of the day, when I'm answering those texts about what do people want to know what I really think about Vision Pro, I think the Vision Pro is a really expensive, really fun toy. Like, this is an incredibly fun
okay,
piece
yeah,
of tech to play with.
that's what
I
you
am
would call it. It's a
loving
toy.
watching the pieces of media built
Maybe it's for
specifically
work,
Vision Pro.
like,
I
I don't know,
loving
office work or
playing
something,
some of
but
the new
I don't
early
see any use
games
in
that are
it
taking advantage of the 3D
myself.
space and the hand controls. I am loving the idea of getting on a plane and editing videos on my Mac, or
hold on.
watching a movie on a gigantic screen while the person next to me can't see
Anime.
any of what I'm doing. That stuff is all so sick. And if you're actually thinking about buying one, I think you should be able to expect to enjoy all of that same
this
stuff
one?
too. But definitely still note
Wait,
that
no,
all
this
of
is
the
a GIF.
symptoms of a first generation product are definitely also still here. It's heavy. It's not a lot
It's
of
not
apps.
this
The
one.
battery life is meh, and it's expensive. So here's the bigger question. Is the Vision Pro a guaranteed success in the future? Because the first generation iPhone had all
Hold
of the
on.
same
I'm sorry. I'm trying to
downfalls
look for
in its
references.
generation, and look at where we are now. So also, same with the watch, same with the iPad. But here's the thing. You can't just say the other stuff had problems and it became successful.
Slow
therefore
anime,
this one having
side
problems also
view.
means it's successful.
How about
It
that?
doesn't work that way. There has to be something about this that people actually like that makes them willing to overlook the first generation downfalls. And I think this has it. I think it has. I honestly, it's kind of just the sci-fi fun nature of like controlling things with your hands, moving windows around the room. The sci-fi movie energy you've seen. You're probably already thinking of a certain movie that has that sort of energy. This has that. And the
It's
fact that these
what is it? Ender's Game? It's not Ender's Game. It's Ready Player One. Yeah, it's Ready Player One.
Universally well liked and so cool. That means that there's
I'm
something
trying
here.
to
There's
find it.
something that people want
Maybe this one.
even in this first generation.
Save
Now, will all
image.
this new attention on VR headsets in general shine a lot of light on all of the other much cheaper competitors that you should probably buy instead of this one, like the $500 Quest 3? Yeah. Now, will all this new
Save
developer
this
attention in this VR AR
reference.
space bring a lot of way
Please
cooler,
be good.
way more awesome applications that will rapidly improve the value proposition of
Okay, it's
this
not that bad.
$3,500
Okay.
first-gen
What
headset?
about?
Yeah. Should you go out and buy one of these if you've got the money and you saw one or two really cool looking apps that you want to try from the videos?
I mean, I guess
Sure,
if I have
why
like
not?
extra
It's your
money.
But I'm already very excited for the next generation. Thanks for watching. Catch you guys in the next one. Peace.
Okay. All right. What about the Cybertruck crash thingy?
In Canada,
No,
complete
it's not
with
this one.
full self-driving.
Okay, maybe it's this one. The self-driving Cybertruck. God
Yeah,
damn.
it's actually the half-scale version that we made back in 2019.
Oh,
I guess you
well,
could
that's
say we
a
beat
fucking
Musk to market
scam.
by 4 years. I'll link the whole playlist below. We've got 5 videos showing how we went from idea to creation in less than 8 weeks. Anyway, with real Cybertrucks finally hitting the road, I figured it's about time that we upgrade this thing. Because last I checked my pre-order, I am 80,379th position in line. to buy
Really?
a
There's
Cybertruck.
over
So,
80,000
I might
people
as well
who
upgrade
wants to buy
Step
this?
1, giving it full self-driving.
That's crazy. Oh my god, how many Redditors do actually want the Cybertruck? Jesus Christ.
We're gonna need to work on that. Our half-scale Cybertruck features a full bulletproof stainless steel unibody design. Yeah, we tested it, just like Joe Rogan.
I have a 90-pound compound bow. Broadhead.
We try right now, Joe.
Nothing. Little spec. It still stopped it. And for performance, we've got a tri-motor design just like the real one. Motor in the back and 2 in the front. Ours clocks in at over 1,000 foot-pounds of torque. We even out-towed an F-150 with it. Oh! That's a win! That's a win! Yeah, this thing's a beast. Yeah! Woo!
Damn, that's crazy.
But anyway, one of the features that we've added one of the features that we added that I don't think actually made it onto the production model is the built-in folding ramp. Now, while the Cyberquad never came to fruition, the kids model was actually pretty awesome. And it fits perfectly. Yep. See, perfect fit. Plus, you can charge it from any Tesla supercharger, or our half-scale one. To control the Cybertruck, we put our own tablet in with a custom app.
Hold
You got
on,
Google
this
Maps,
looks
you got your
pretty-
ignition, your driving mode, gear shifter. We can control all the lights.
Ah.
Well, RGB too, because everything needs RGB, and that gives it at least extra.
Okay, I'm
100
seeing
horsepower.
it.
You can see our battery information, and even the motor information. We've even got Spotify. Overall, this thing's pretty awesome and one of my favorite projects, but we kind of put it on a shelf and it's been collecting dust ever since. So in this video, we're gonna soup it up, give it some real Tesla Model S batteries, make it remote controlled, and even try self-driving.
Ben, what's happening?
So the steering that was in the Cybertruck in the beginning was maybe a bit of a compromise. You can see there's a lot of steering wheel play. It's not power assisted in any way, so it's really hard to turn the wheels. To make this thing self-driving, we need to solve both of those problems. We need a motor on there anyways, and why not make that motor power assisted? So I gotta get all the old steering out. Right now, we are trying to take out this
I think
component
the one strat that people
with,
do is like draw big
no
chunks of
room to
heaven
move
and
around.
draw
It might be
small
helpful
strands
to grab
later.
these
So let me
controls.
try that.
Let's try a 13.
Because oh my god, it's so bad.
Holy crap.
How do people visualize this? Visualize this.
The steering wheel has too much play?
Yep. Now I'm safe to work under this because at least it won't crush me.
Let me see.
That's all I needed to do.
All you needed to do.
It's a waste of time.
That was a waste of time. Hunter made the modifications I need to drop in the new steering system.
Hunter's probation does end on Saturday, so I just wanted to know, do you think he'll make it?
It's Saturday. There's ways to get screwed up stuff.
Do you think he did a good job here?
I couldn't have asked for more.
Put that on LinkedIn.
Resume.
Something like this, I guess.
Let's see.
And then.
It works! Honestly, I'm a little bit surprised.
Where are the batteries?
Oh, they're in the shop.
Oh, they are?
Yeah.
Why were we excited
Something like
about
this,
then?
and then.
Because this is the
something
first
like-
major part of the new Cybertruck build. Oh yeah! This is what we need! These came out of a Tesla Model S, and we are going to put 2 of them instead of 16 in our half-scale Cybertruck. These weigh, I don't know, somewhere in the range of 40 pounds. See why I said
It's like a giant box full of double A's.
Does it fit through here? drive test number 1. We'll see if it goes at all. Yeah, man.
Fuck, it's so hard. Hold on.
Okay. She stopped quick. What did we learn? Everything kind of works in principle. Got to spend a bit of time tuning the driving.
They're basically just making a mini car.
Need to
That's
install
about it.
batteries properly just for safety.
It's nothing special.
About to test
Like a
the
mini
charger
truck.
for the first time. I've wired up the EMS after blowing it up like more times than I want to admit. Wired, we have the balance connectors, we have the temperature probes. So I think all we can do is plug it in and see what happens. We got our supercharger.
Okay, let's think in chunks. So like this right here is like a whole part, right?
So let's plug
And
it in.
underneath here is a different part.
We are
Okay.
charging.
Now, the Cybertruck might be in production, but something that still hasn't materialized is the Cyberquad. All we got was the Cyberquad for kids, but I gotta say, they actually did a really good job with this. It's manufactured by Radio Flyer, the same company that makes all the little electric cars for kids. Except this one is a quad. It's a lot of fun. In fact, it's so much fun, you can tip it. Which means Tesla actually issued a full recall of these just last year.
Oh, Christy, done.
The neat thing with the recall was, all you had to do to get your money back was remove the speed controller from inside and mail it back to Tesla. And they'd cut you a check for $1,900 US, which was the original retail price for this. Now,
No
the
way.
beauty is, you can go to Amazon and buy a $50 speed controller and put it back inside of this, which makes it work again. Woo!
Wow.
You can upgrade it with an even bigger speed controller to go crazy fast. Getting some tire marks from the wall, it's fine. Oh, jeez.
Yeah, a few skid marks.
I'm going to be here for a bit, so why don't I tell you about this video's sponsor, 8 Sleep. As many of you know, I've had a lot of problems with sleeping. I've tried pretty much every piece of sleep tech and hack out there, but there's only one product that I really stand behind, and that's the 8 Sleep pod cover. It's a liquid-cooled mattress topper that is clinically proven to give you better sleep. It's kind of like self-driving, but for your sleep quality. And I should know because I've been using it for a full year already, and it's helped me so much. So let me tell you why I love it so much. First off, it's just super convenient to change the temperature of my bed at a moment's notice. Sometimes I like it really warm, and other times, like when I shower before bed, I like it cool. And of course, it's zone controlled too, so if you sleep with someone else who has different preferences,
I've never
no
actually
problem.
like seen anyone
Secondly,
buy
it helps you fall
mattresses
asleep and stay
in
asleep
like
longer.
10
That's because
years.
your body's temperature
The
actually
one time that I
fluctuates throughout
bought
the
a
night,
mattress
and that's
is
where
when
autopilot
my
comes in.
old one,
It keeps your
or
body at the
yeah, the
perfect
old one
temperature to
has
keep you asleep
bed
by warming
bugs
up or
underneath
cooling down
it,
the
so
mattress
basically
throughout
it's
your sleep cycle,
infested.
just like self-driving, but for your sleep. Except
So
it's
I
programmed
bought
by professionals,
a,
not us.
what's it called?
Finally, the pod cover actually
So I
tracks
bought
your
a new
sleep, giving
mattress
you
and that's about
fantastic
it.
insights to help you optimize your nightly routine. It's like having a sleep coach right at your fingertips. Check it out at 8sleep.com/hacksmith and get $250 off the pod. Thank you to 8 Sleep for sponsoring this video.
Last time you saw the Cybertruck, I'd just taken it out for a spin out through a lot, and I brought it back in, needed to do some tuning. So that night, I got ready to do some tuning, started to drive, and my steering servo blew up. You can see the little bits of teeth kind of spread around in the servo, all just ripped off. So we have a new idea. We took hydraulic steering out of a boat.
So this new steering system is an outboard engine.
90 horsepower outboard engine, hydraulic steering system. So this goes in the steering column of your boat. Then we got these hydraulic lines. These hydraulic lines run all the way down around.
I
the
understood
piston
nothing.
we're talking
This is so
So we
techie.
basically
My
just
god.
replaced our original steering linkage with this hydraulic piston here. So as the wheels turn, this extends and retracts and allows us to hopefully steer.
So all this is because the steering wheel has too much play.
Yup.
Nice to be back working on the Cybertruck body.
Oh, it's been a while. Yeah, this is a fun project.
We're getting ready to put the steering wheel in soon.
Heyo.
We got the thing mounted. It took.
Is that the steering wheel?
This is the new steering wheel. It's
think
inspired by the
it's
current Cybertruck
something
steering wheel,
like-
the same kind of design in the center. Oh! Rob!
This, I
Rob
think.
forgot to tell me about that thing.
I didn't think you needed to be told about it, but nice job avoiding that thing, Ben.
I don't
There's
know.
a cable hanging from the bottom.
This one is
wanna
not
take a look at
it.
this? I don't know.
What's the
Okay.
black cable hanging from, guys?
Revise,
Oh,
revise,
it's the bed
revise.
light. It's
See.
the secondary. That's why the lights are all whack.
So we have a few minor bugs to sort out. Our steering wheel is a little bit loose. Our hydraulic lines are rubbing the wheel when we're turning. So yeah, only one of our front wheels is actually doing regen braking. So when you brake, the car steers to the side. There's wires hanging out the back. So we still have our work cut out for us. Yeah, there's rattles, there's panel gaps. You don't get the range you expect.
While Bogdan works away on some of the adjustments, I'm going to focus on the self-driving software for our Cybertruck. For this application, we're going to use Ardu Rover, which is the same software we used for our super successful security drone project a couple months ago. Once this RC car is driving autonomously, we should be able to take the same hardware and put it right into the Cybertruck. So I'm going to go set it outside. Okay, so you got a
This is not working at all.
setup. It's going to start at front of the building, drive out a little bit through that field, and we're off. This could be a bit of a path, but for now we're taking it nice and cautious.
Yeah, it's too repetitive. How do I...
And another 90.
How do I figure this out?
If you're not going to like the grass. It seems to be happy, and I think we got waypoint driving down. Bogdan very nicely made me this box for all the electronics, for all the self-driving. This should fit right behind the iPad on the Cybertruck. I've set it up so that the right stick will turn the steering on the truck. This is the first time steering the wheel with a remote control.
Nice.
This is sick. If you'd like to know how the electronics in this Cybertruck work, make sure to check out our circuit diagram at maker.io. I'm ready. I'm pumped. Runaway
Yeah, I
acceleration
actually...
is the biggest
The
concern.
one time that
100%.
I saw
Am I concerned?
Hacksmith
Yeah, a little bit.
is when they were making like a real
It's working, boys.
lightsaber.
It's pretty smooth, Ben.
Ben, can I drive you around or what?
Bogdan can drive me around.
Wow.
Honestly, they're too techy for me.
Ben is in full trust mode.
So just before the new year, I finally got the self-driving box installed in here.
So basically
And
what they're doing is a
and
mini
it really drove
electric
Bogdan
truck.
and I off a cliff. So I made some changes. We got to take it outside and drive around, see how it looks. So screen in Logan's hand is going to show the position and the orientation properly. That's a success. We're not getting any satellites.
None. We're not
Zero.
seeing any.
Bruh moment.
That's what I'm saying.
The whole thing died again.
It's always when you're about to test something that everything that can go wrong will go wrong.
Take two.
Yep.
It's still looking pretty good.
Yep.
Why? Steering noise.
Bruh.
Oh, because the steering faulted out. We drove around, didn't brake immediately. The steering motor faulted out because I think there's something very wrong in the belt system.
What the heck?
What?
Rocky, what's your hypothesis? My world broke. It's not a hypothesis. I can see my broken world.
Bruh.
God, that was so loud.
We'll see. This steering wheel. Whew! That click, so satisfying.
A new day!
We're just gonna try to go. You know, let's go over here. So give it a bit of chance.
Daryl, you might want to move.
Yeah,
it's going to
it's
go
gonna turn
right
left.
towards you.
We're just trusting it. You don't even have your hands ready to stop it. That's not bad. So we're gonna hopefully go around the light post, through the parking lot, make a U-turn in front of the garage, come all the way back, go in front of the main entrance, and come back exactly where we started. Fully autonomously.
Hopefully.
We have like 50 different waypoints that it's gonna try to hit.
Oh,
and
God.
You're a big liar. There's 80.
What if they just
Alright,
drive off
we're off.
the cliff?
Great
Yeah.
start.
Okay, no, it's fine, it's fine. The start was a little off, right? Okay, maybe not.
It would be funny if they accidentally drive off a cliff.
Fine. It's just trying to hit the waypoint.
Yeah,
okay?
no, he's just trying to hit the waypoint.
Maybe it
Isn't
is
it just like a pre-program, or are they? Is it actually like responding
well,
to like the
So I think here's the
environment?
problem. I think I put down way too many waypoints. They're way too close. And it's basically, it's undercompensating. It's planning ahead, but since the waypoints are so close to each other, it's only planning ahead like the next, like 3 meters.
Can you tell me what happened last night after we stopped recording?
Yeah, so we wanted to go test the truck going up and down the hill, and we try to stop it, and the stop buttons don't work.
Oof moment. Oh, that looks pretty bad. Oh, that looks pretty bad.
I heroically jumped on the back, reached through
Oh,
the missing
oh
windshield,
man.
and turned it
That's
off
crazy.
from the iPad.
Bogdan was saved.
Yeah, so we have our steering radius set, and hopefully the entire thing will be running much smoother. And we're off. Full autonomous mission. Gonna go nice and wide here. You can do a pretty sharp turn. And it's doing the turn. Ooh, this is good so far.
Nice
Basically
and
exactly
close.
where we were. Yep.
Look at that
Yeah,
tracking.
that positioning is really good. That's tracking really well.
I did drift out a little bit towards Mega
You
Hex.
did, yep. You kept it nice and center. So now should do a nice sharp right turn. Yep.
This, I don't like
And
this
then we
at
did a
all,
really wide
actually.
turnaround here. This is really testing our radius circles. This is working really well.
See the excitement on
This
Daryl's
is really working really well. Oh, this is good. Oh, look at that. That's so good.
Holy crap.
Pull back right around, and then it should stop right where
What
Daryl
if I
is.
erase this,
For our
right?
passenger
And
pickup.
actually draw the hair flowing.
That was really good. That hit every point. Look how good that entire waypoint mission was. Literally perfect. 0 interventions.
Should we call James?
I'm James.
And I'm Ben.
And we're going for a drive.
Woo! We're gonna try a basic waypoint mission around the field. See what happens.
Which means we're removing the steering wheel. All right. This is self-driving. We are going to go up the hill. Hopefully not kill Daryl. Pretty good.
It might struggle getting up the hill. Daryl! Daryl! Daryl!
Here we go.
Up the hill!
We've only given it
Okay, something like this.
23% throttle.
Right?
What the? That's great for the differential.
Yeah.
So I'm
Okay,
guessing you
okay.
just didn't
Okay,
mark
I'm
a
seeing it.
waypoint out at the
I'm
corner.
starting to see it.
That was my bad. So I set the waypoint not at the apex of the corner. Yeah, it self-drives. I think we'll be we'll make it to market in like.
Okay, that's the first.
Well, we know it
Easy.
can go down this hill. You want to go down this hill?
No?
I gotta go through this.
Steering? Look on Daryl's faces.
A little bit to the right.
What if I just do that? Yeah, and then if I do that and fill it in.
We've put together the state-of-the-art obstacle course
Shit.
for the Cybertruck to drive through. And
which
just
one?
to be clear, our Cybertruck doesn't have programmed obstacle avoidance, so this should be fun. So we've got some test subjects,
Is it
and we're gonna get their
over
thoughts
here?
on it.
Or...
You excited, Logan?
Oh, it's
a
over.
lot of
Okay.
obstacles,
There we go.
Daryl.
Yeah, I know.
How many people have done this so far?
3 actually.
Is that including Ben and Bogdan as two?
Yeah.
Great.
I'm locked in.
Ready?
Shit.
Locked in, you ready?
I'm ready.
Oh, it's making noise.
Okay, do that.
I don't know what path it's supposed to do. Okay, first obstacle. You got it. You got it. Yeah? Okay. Okay.
This.
Okay, we haven't hit
This.
anything yet. Wait, this is crazy. Oh,
This. And then... What the fuck just happened? Who the hell screamed like a girl?
Why is it like taunting me with that one?
What the hell?
I mean, half the time the off switch doesn't work.
Okay, next up is the bottom
Minus
here.
the one casualty.
Make it darker
Oh my god!
so it's more
was
comprehensible.
Oh, are you terrified?
Which doctor actually? Something else. Yeah, there we go.
I think I'm fine.
What are your thoughts on autonomous vehicles?
If they don't run over people too often, should be fine.
Give me some more room. There you go, look at that.
Oh,
Look
it
how
pops. Oh.
Look how much, we don't want him to have any possibility of driving this, right?
It feels like a bad amusement park ride, you know? Oh, we're going towards, okay, no, we're fine. Look, I'm just going through a walk in the park with my neighbors. Oh my god. Ah! Oh my god. Okay, this feels great. Yeah, we didn't hit anything yet.
Oh, that's crazy. Oh, yeah, that person's dead.
Fine.
What the fuck? Oh, that's pretty bad. Oh, that's pretty bad.
That hasn't happened before.
Wow.
I don't think I was able to turn because there's mannequin parts
Did I
in the
pass my
steering.
G? Wow. Was that
I-
play?
That fucking. Oh
I
my
was
god, that
incorrect. That was
fucking
terrifying.
license.
Let's see how it does with this course. Ooh, that's a bit faster than I thought it would go. It's going through the trees on this map. Let's hope we don't hit Mr. Red Mannequin. Oh god. Ooh, it's tight. Oh boy. Oh, there's the wheelchair. Oh, oh, I just missed the wheelchair. Oh god. Oh. Ooh, oh, his leg. Ooh. 2 out of 3 pedestrians survived. That was the trolley problem. this car will pass.
So basically, if you're in the way of this Cybertruck, you have a 66% chance of survival and 1/3% chance of dying.
It will seem like you're almost going to crash into all these things. Just stay with it. You'll be fine.
And away we go. Stand on the road, little bumpy, heading for the pedestrian. Oh no, oh no! I'm not sure if that was supposed to happen. I think it's all supposed to happen. Not the concrete, not the concrete.
Oh,
Why the
yeah,
concrete?
that
Why?
truck is done.
Why?
Oh, that's pretty
What
bad.
is this?
That's horrible. What the hell happened to the test, damn it?
It's the top speed at 80.
Like 40 or 50 kilometers an hour.
Do you want a helmet? No.
Oh, wow. Damn, bro. What the hell?
I'm gonna go to the meeting that we're supposed to be in right now.
When it comes to self-driving cars, one of the most common things that comes up is something called the trolley problem. If you're not familiar with the trolley problem, imagine this scenario.
Of course,
On
I
one
am so
track,
familiar
there's 4
with
mannequins.
this.
On the other track, there's 1 mannequin. The car has to choose one of these paths. Which path will it choose? Now, most humans would probably choose to run over the 1 person to save the 4. You know, the needs of the many outweigh the few. But the thing with AI is we could actually be recognizing these people. And potentially, the AI could actually assign value to human life. And maybe it would actually decide to kill 4 mannequins.
Oh,
In just
oh
a
that'd be
moment,
so
Audrey's
fun.
gonna
Oh,
initiate
that
the
would be
self-driving
so
module of our
fun.
half-scale Cybertruck. Now, in case anything goes wrong, I've got this emergency off. All right, Bogdan, hit it. Bogdan. Oh.
I was the logical choice.
The goddamn robot's down!
Not only is the Cybertruck super smart, it's also super convenient.
Woo!
What's gonna happen? Nothing.
How are
Okay.
you gonna go back up?
That's a long trek, I'm not gonna lie.
Here's your ride, sir.
How would I draw this part?
Oh, bumpy ride. Too easy.
Probably wondering where I've got the zip line. Well, it's for a video we just made, which is coming out super soon. It's flying like Thor's hammer, but you can watch it today if you become a YouTube member. Go check it out. Let's do this thing.
What the fuck is he doing?
Now where's my ride?
Slowly come down the 2 miles an hour.
There it is. Round 2.
A little impressive.
Let's go again. It was crazy impressive. And it's like, it's going by itself.
Hold on.
That ain't going nowhere.
Hair may be too low. Hold on.
I got the forklift stuck.
Do I full send because it's kinetic rope? Someone sit on the front. Mike, sit on the front of the car. Yeah, buddy! Woo! All right, Hunter, hop in. You're our counterweight. Give the wheels some traction.
Oh shit. Oh, it's actually pulling.
Yeah, baby!
Damn.
Hunter, you gotta steer! Yeah.
God damn. That's actually impressive. Okay, damn. Yeah, that's actually mad impressive. That they're able to do that. Like, just a bunch of dudes working on it. Well, granted, a lot of it is on wheels, but you know, even so, the weight is
This was
crazy.
supposed to be a quick revisit project. A few weeks to fix up, and yeah, after all those bugs we fought, To be honest, I'm actually impressed the real Cybertruck made it to market in just over 4 years. We started working on this back in September, and it's almost February now. If you like the video, please like and subscribe. We really can't do this without you guys, and the more views these videos get, the crazier the projects we get to do. If you want to help support the channel even more, consider becoming a member by clicking the join button next to subscribe. And you can see our Flying Like Thor video early. Thanks for watching.
What about this? Tectone! Tectone, what you got?
Video. I highly recommend that you watch the whole thing from start to finish. And hopefully now
what drama do we have today? I know drama happened between Tectone and the Asian guy, whatever the streamer's name is.
That Atsu has done that have completely destroyed several aspects of my life, as well as many others, are disgusting. And the worst thing is, he deflects. Now, here's the thing. There are things that you do in this community, and there are things that you don't do in this community. But the things that I am about to read to you are very uncomfortable. This is going to be a very uncomfortable, very long video, and the worst thing is, this will not be the end of it, because he will eventually make a response, attempting to excuse everything, and most likely call every person who speaks out against it delusional, obsessed, and he will attempt to make himself look as good as possible. Now, unfortunately, listen, I get it. My reputation is completely obliterated in this community, largely as to the point of this man. I'm going to be 100%. He will make excuse after excuse, give reason after reason, but if you truly understand and actually listen to the things that he's saying and look into them, they don't make any sense. The thing about Atsu that people need to realize is that he is a narcissistic, God-complexed individual, and if there's one thing he's very good at, it is manipulation and debate. We were going to read everything from Brax, and I'm even going to give Atsu the benefit of the doubt, and I'm going to reread what he said in response to Braxophone, and we'll get into it. I'm sure
Braxophone, I know that guy, the Genshin Impact guy, and Honkai Star Rail.
The base of my claims have been founded, which they are now founded by Brax speaking out, that he would drop things. I'm going to assume that he won't drop things, but maybe that's me being pessimistic. I would like to move forward, and if given the opportunity, this will be the last time that I ever mention this scenario. But I have a feeling I'm not going to be allowed to move on. Now, I understand if you've ever had a bad impression of me. I understand if you've ever had a bad impression of any content creator. But I hope after this video, you'll understand why I felt so crazy, and you're going to start to understand the things that I've warned this community.
I don't like this. The flow is
not just about the game, but also content creators is all true. This isn't a report from one man. This is a report from multiple. And the worst thing is, a lot of people think this is the guy that Atsu was referring to when he called me up my post. No. This is one of many people who have echoed the same sentiments as this man. And don't worry, many more of those people have weighed in publicly on Twitter. And to those who have spoken out about their mistreatment by a certain content creator, I would also recommend, if you have been mistreated by anyone in this community or someone else in this, involving this, please reach out to me on Twitter. My DMs are always open. I will read all of them. And let this, moving forward, be a learning experience for things aren't always as they seem. And I really hope that you guys understand this. And just to quickly move forward for people who don't know how Atsu really obliterated my life, he made me lose one of my best friends by saying I was manipulating him into doing my bidding, and then recently on Twitch came out and said he lied about the whole thing. I lost one of my best friends. This led my best friend to almost do something that would have been very bad, and also give me the reputation of someone who manipulates everyone around him, as well as go behind my back and warn other people to not interact with me. That is my story. There is even more, and I will continue that if I need to. Now, I will say this. Is this about canceling Atsu? Not for me, not personally. This is about making one delusional man aware of his actions. And the thing is, when you poke this bear, he doesn't like it. And he is going to say that everything you're saying is projecting onto him, and that you deflect everything he says. This is a very common manipulation tactic, and unfortunately, a lot of people don't see through this. I don't blame anyone. I understand this community is much younger. I understand that people may not understand the actions of him, but hopefully after we read all of this, you will see the damage he's caused, and also the very childish, very manipulative response he gave to hurting someone who all they wanted to do was be kind to him. So, let's begin. We are not going to read the TLDR. We are going to read every single word. We are not going to skim over everything. We are going to read every single word of both responses, because I am not going to leave a single thing out. Now, let's continue. I was subtweeted yesterday.
24 pages.
Since I'm blocked,
I'm kidding.
not able to see his tweets about a grudge, which is absolutely crazy because I let this blow over for a long time and I was really just letting it go. I haven't spoken to Atsu in over a year, and I don't remember the last time I talked about Atsu.
I'm honestly so out of the loop because I only scroll on Twitter for like porn and stuff, so I don't know what's going on. How did all this even started actually?
Like Atsu forcing me to leak my DMs about me being a kid, and that is something that I was never able to speak on, and even reimagining that gives me lots of anxiety. And that is another thing that Atsu forced me to leak when he once again lied about the things that I was doing. If you have something you need to say, I hope that you speak out against it. I've kept quiet about this for a long time for a few reasons. I don't like stirring up drama. When something involves me, of course I'm going to respond to it if it's a big misconception or something like that, but most of the time I leave it alone. Watching other people's drama is fun sometimes, but ultimately it's only fun if it's not really a big deal and both parties can walk away from it at the end of the day. This is not something I would think would go away quickly, and not without repercussions for both me and Atsu. I am scared of what will happen to me for coming out with this information. Imagine being that horrified of merely speaking against someone who's been you for years. Bridges have been burned without my knowing due to things that Atsu has said about me that are out of my control. I worry that I might just be straight up wrong. Maybe I was wrong about all of it, and it was just a huge coincidence. After yesterday, I am 100% sure I was right. And just wait. There's more. There's much, much, much more. In this Twit Longer, I'm going to compile all of the things that have happened to me as a result of Atsu and his influence over the Genshin content space.
This part right here, I don't like this. As I don't believe it's my right to tell their story. I should pull out Ado's piece because the hair on Ado's piece is almost perfect.
Others who have had similar experiences.
It just looks AI generated.
Manipulation, weaponizing audiences, gatekeeping, and more. All of the behaviors that Atsu accuses other people of doing. Feel free to note that as a Bridges burned before I even knew they were open. Content creators warned about me that I had never even spoken to or about. Hell, even Tectone was warned about me. I confirm this. When I announced that I was going to have Braxophone on my podcast, I was warned by multiple people. You know what they all said? Atsu said that guy's bad vibes. Atsu said this. Atsu said that. Tectone, the guy who the entire Genshin community consistently rallies against, was warned about me. And yet he was the only one who made an actual effort to be my friend and get to know me. I understand that a lot of these scenarios may end up having vague details, as I stated before. I want to tell my story without implicating anybody who doesn't want to be a part of it. If you are a part of the story, I please encourage everybody to talk about this. So here's my story from start to finish. When I first met Atsu, it was at Anime NYC, November 19th through November 21st. The year after I started making content on Genshin Impact. He was very kind to me, offered to take a picture, etc. At this point, I struggled a lot with communication and social anxiety. Thanks to COVID, isolation compounded with my already sparse social skills. Around the time Genshin blew up, I had transferred schools.
This part right here,
since everything was
it's gonna
online,
suck
I
because
wasn't
everything's colliding with each other.
With people were pretty awkward.
I only need a thing or
two
to collide with each other, not all of them.
I walked away from that interaction feeling pretty okay with it because Atsu made it feel normal. So I thought we were good. Naturally, I asked for a photo, posted it on Twitter, and that was it. Thought we were on good terms. I don't think I spoke to him again until Anime Expo 2022. He has it all timeline. In the time between two conventions, he held some collaborations with other creators, but I just kind of assumed I was too small to join because as a smaller creator, I assumed bigger creators wouldn't talk to you unless you had numbers. He seemed oddly avoidant at the convention itself though, avoiding spaces I was at and eye contact. Eventually I went to speak with him because I thought I was probably all in my head and I just want to make friends and get to know the people we're working with in the space. Again, social anxiety was still bad because as a YouTuber and introvert, I never leave my house. This is where I assume things got weird for him because honestly, I still don't know what I did. Basically, there's this voice actor who's been terror to other voice actors, and another voiceover friend told me I should warn other content creators that he's been a creep and terror to other people. So that's a topic I brought up. Looking back, big yikes. Nope, you were literally attempting to help someone, okay? When you hear someone is doing literal crimes, I do not blame you for warning people. Looking back, big yikes for a conversation starter, but the way I saw it, I was just doing what I was told to do. As both Atsu and other creators regularly talk to the terror creep.
Alright.
Won't elaborate because at this point, details are no longer mine to share. I would love to know who this terror creep VO is. Let's continue. The conversation was very short, and we both went about our days, no issue. When there was an issue, however, during one of my nights at AX at a party, at this point, I'd become very good friends with Jenny Yokobori, and she invited me to go with her to meet more of her friends, and I was excited to go. I don't think she wants to be wrapped up with us at all, so I'm not going to at her or anything, but you might see her in a couple photos later. Essentially, the entire Atsu Genshin clique was there. The Genshin clique, in case you're unfamiliar with what that means.
Alright, I can't claim my prize. Hello, Eddie. I'm putting your art on hold for like, I don't know, I'll finish it off stream, because I want to draw me this time.
That's essentially what people refer to as the Genshin clique. Right? Let's continue. Before I go on,
I'm watching this fucking tech-tone drama.
I thought it might be possible,
not,
but I am also
yeah,
tech-tone
drama and stuff.
Kisumu,
hello, Kisumu, welcome. It's been some times. Oh my god. I'm drawing genderbent me, so and watching this drama at the same time because I'm so out of the loop.
I didn't feel
How about
judged or anything
you?
like
I'm doing
I just felt some weird
fine.
tension
I'm a little
with
tired,
this,
but
maybe
I'm
I
doing
was just bad at
fine.
reading. I would like to go on record.
How are
I know
you?
me
It's
and
been
Dish
some
don't have a good past.
times.
I don't think that's because she's a bad person. I just
I'm
think
trying to
she's a
study
little
how
bit
to like.
misguided and
I'm trying to
maybe a
study the
little
hair
bit,
workflow
perhaps too
because
self-righteous for her own good and perhaps a little
yeah,
bit
I still don't know how to draw
At
hair
one point,
properly.
everyone wanted to get a picture together, and I assumed I wasn't part of it. But Dish invited me
Did you
to
sleep
join
yet?
them for photos, which would make sense due to the fact that
I mean,
Brax is directly next to Dish.
I slept
This
for
lines up.
how
I
long?
look like an
How long did I
actual
sleep
skinwalker
for?
in them, but there's my photo. You won't find this
4
on
to
the
12.
internet
I mean,
because as far
yeah, I
as
slept
know,
4 to
no one
12, which
uses
is
it.
8
Maybe I'm
hours.
wrong,
So
though.
I guess
You
it's
are not wrong. Let's continue.
fine, but like I slept
Let's
at
continue.
4, so
Atsu,
wait, BRB,
right
no
in the
problem.
front.
You know what? I'll be right back as well. One moment, I'm gonna get some water. You should check out this name here called Zoocosis. The fuck? What is that? Alright, hold on, I'll be right back. I'm gonna go get some water real quick. I'm back. Alright. Hold on. My earbuds. Hold on, my earbuds. Zoocosis. Oh wait, no, I remember Zoocosis now. It's that horror game where like zoo animals turn into like monsters and stuff, and you have to kill it. Oh, I remember. I need to watch that again because man, that was so. That's such a good like game concept. Oh my god. Yeah, like, why did no one think of that earlier? Anyway.
Wow. How fitting. Let's continue. Right after taking this photo, however, Atsu brought everyone back for photos specifically without me in it. And there's nothing wrong with wanting photos with your friends. But for someone who supposedly doesn't have an issue with me, it's very weird for them to take those photos without me and post the version that exclude me instead. Now here's where I think some of the hate towards me began. I honestly don't know. Well, Brax, I'm gonna be real. From what you're telling me in this story, it seems like it happened even before if the guy wouldn't even make eye contact with you. So let's continue. Don't worry, boys. We have all the context for everything later. Don't worry. There was a girl I hadn't met who I know is the VTuber Saki. When I introduced myself and asked who she was earlier in the day of the convention, she told me, oh, I'm a nobody, which she has recently corroborated. That is exactly what she said. The rest of the circle of Genshin creators we were in did not elaborate or explain further either at the con itself or at the party. So I assumed she was just there as a friend of another creator who just wasn't interested in talking to me. Never at any point during that party was I told who she was. Now I know this is partially my fault, even with my lack of
This doesn't make sense. Yeah, these shittings right here doesn't make sense. Let me think.
I did not think to check in with everyone that the photo they would be okay with it giving up on my account. I uploaded uncensored without a second thought. This is not your fault at all, Brax. That is not your fault at all. Unless the information was disclosed to you, hey, do not upload this, you did nothing wrong. I took it down as soon as I saw them because I wanted to respect your privacy. And I didn't even re-upload the photo so people wouldn't remember it and put things together. This is very noble. You did nothing wrong. To this day, I'm still at a loss of how anyone could hold a grudge against me for that, considering that she never told me who she was or that she was a VTuber. From the lens of you should have asked to post the photo first, I can understand the frustration, but that's okay. It was a one-time thing and got fixed quickly. No
what about
big deal.
these right here? This looks...
Difference between the pics Brax has and what Atsu posted last year. They photoshopped over him with Bao.
Damn.
When this guy only wanted to be accepted and have friends, you Photoshop over the guy because he's not part of your clique. I hope everyone realizes how up that is, how unwelcoming that is, and how non-comfy and cozy that is, as the man often perpetuates himself as. There's one thing I pride myself in my audience. Everybody knows who I am. I am the same guy when I go on stream. I'm the same guy when I go off stream. I'm a dick. I don't pretend to be anything that I'm not. That shit would f me up, make me feel unwelcome, and probably not continue what I was doing or attempting to make friends, whatever, whatsoever, in that space when every single, what could have made him think that every
yeah, I vibe with Tectone with that idea. I kind of a dick as well.
Did not even want to be seen in the same photo as him.
Hey,
That is insane.
yeah, Ed can fucking...
And the entire group. Here's where I learned that I wasn't reading into things too much. I just asked him directly. Hey, dude, can we chat? What's up?
Confirm that, because I'm kind of a dick in real life.
Nobody should feel like they need to be anyone's friend, and I think faking it can be pretty bad.
But we're still friends anyway.
Is there something I did? Maybe I'm just heavily misreading stuff, but I've sort of felt like you might be avoiding interacting with me. And if that's the case, I just want to know there's something that I did and you didn't tell me. But I've sort of felt like you might be avoiding interacting with me, and if that's the case, I just want to know there's something I did that you didn't like. Again, perfectly reasonable response. Again, I don't think everyone needs to be friends. I would like to at least not be on bad terms with people, though. A very fair statement. Very, very, very fair. Hey, Brax, I don't consider it to be on bad terms with you, but I do keep you at arm's length simply because I don't really know you that well, and I found it a bit uncomfortable how eager you came across trying to befriend me. It almost felt forceful. Post-NYC, post-NYC and even post-LA, certain tweets and actions I saw over time needed to reaffirm to me that it was probably indeed in my best interest to keep you at arm's length. Like what? He wanted to be your friend, and so it gets worse. So the guy tries to be Atsu's friend, and apparently that's the worst thing on planet Earth, because only he chooses who enters the friend group. Well, I would like to elaborate more. I can't say in good faith that I trust you to respect certain degrees of privacy or to keep things truly confidential. I don't think you're a bad person, but I also don't think I can really vibe with you on a friend level. The classic Atsu. It's not that I hate you. It's not that he's a bad guy. It's just that I'm disappointed. It's just that he's confused.
I'm
The
not
classic.
mad, I'm just
Atsu,
disappointed.
out of curiosity, what was he going to say that you were so afraid of getting leaked? Why you can't just say why you don't like him? Oh yeah, I don't trust you, but just know that I don't like you, and I'm not going to tell you why. That is insane. Thanks for the honesty. I'm pretty awkward, and I haven't really gotten used to the parasocial stuff. Moving from knowing people online to meeting them in person is not something I'm good at, and I apologize for making you uncomfortable. Generally, I want to be on good terms with everyone, and if it helps you feel better about our past interactions, I'm not trying to clout chase or anything like that. That would be far from the best thing for me. My community or you. I was just pretty excited to meet other creators. I really enjoy being friends with most of the creators I know, and I think it would be super fun to be friends with a lot of creators. I don't talk too much. But as I've said, I'm pretty awkward, so get that I don't give off a good vibe. Anyways, thanks for the honesty, and I respect the decision. If you ever want to chat, don't be a stranger, no hard feelings. All he wanted to do was be friends. And you can't even do him the respect of letting him know why you are isolating him. But it gets worse. There is nothing but good intentions behind these DMs. Now let me ask you a question. I've been on good terms with Brax for probably 6, 7, 8 months now. I have invited him
Brax
on
is the
my
victim here.
Gotcha podcast 3 times. I want to ask you a question. How many times do you think Brax has asked me to collab or do anything with him? -3. Because I have even offered to go on his channel and repay him for being on my channel, and he said, no, I couldn't do that. No, I couldn't do that.
Yeah, Brax seems pretty chill, you know, when I watch his Genshin tutorial. Not Genshin tutorial, Genshin like guide and stuff.
He's that afraid of this situation repeating itself. It is absolutely this guy, a guy who is attempting to be cordial and friendly and be on at least good terms, Atsu refers to as a obsessive stalker. And you know what's great? No matter what, Brax is going to get referred to as that for the rest of his life. For the rest of his life. Brax is going to have to deal with being called an obsessive stalker for the rest of his life. Because Atsu spits these things out there, has no basis for anything that he says, and people accept it as the truth. At least when I say things, I tell you how I got to that conclusion, and I provide the basis of how I got to that conclusion. Or I at least admit I made up to piss people off. So basically, I'm not on bad terms with you, but I don't want to be friends with you. And I can't tell you why, because I don't trust you. I really do appreciate the honesty about it, but why can't you trust me? For the record, I don't think it's weird to be like, I don't know you that well. And I can even respect it if you just don't like the vibe. Even though I'm a believer in giving people an honest chance, rather than letting 5 minutes or less rush public first impressions mean everything. But where did this trust thing even come from? It was such a strange response overall. And at first, I only told my closest friends about it, who's not even involved in the space at all, because I didn't want to risk this getting out of hand. I was just confused as hell. Imagine you're told, I don't want anything to do with you on a friend level, and then they Dr. Ratio follow-up hit you with, I don't trust you to keep things confidential. What can you do? Either I keep it to myself, and I just have to cope with the idea that one of the biggest influencers in the Genshin space doesn't trust me, and potentially the entire friend group by extension, or do I do exactly what Atsu accuses me of by going for clarification and break his confidentiality? Atsu very much likes putting people in lose-lose scenarios over and over and over and over again. Atsu gave me a choice. He gave me an ultimatum where he said that I was shit-talking other creators in our DMs. So I show all of them. Because it's either I don't show the DMs, and now everybody thinks that I'm a liar, and that I've been shit-talking other content creators, or I get to show people that I opened up to Atsu about me being, not once, but twice, when I was a child. And I had that go public, when I didn't want anybody to know about that shit. And he decided, yeah, we'll just make him leak that. And you want to know why? You want to know why? Because in the DMs, for one comment, after my first conversation with Tenha, he asked me, what do you think about Tenha? I said, I don't know, he was kind of weird. That's the me? That's the me blatantly shit-talking other content creators? He said, Tenha's kind of weird. And you know what's crazy? Guess who I'm still friends with? Tenha. That's wild, right? That's wild. Insane. And don't worry, We're going to talk about Tenha later, too. We're going to talk about all of it. We're going to talk about the witch hunt. Yep, you know what I'm
Oh
talking
boy,
about.
that's a lot.
Where's the rat? Where's the rat? Because you know something leaked. The fact that anybody would shit talk Tenha and attempt to make me lose someone who's been nothing but kind of me because I said they're weird? Weird. That's the grand offense that I did. You're weird? I mean, the guy himself admits he goes live and just talks about cock all the time. Am I crazy? I'm pretty sure if someone were to talk to me, they'd also say that I'm pretty weird myself. It was such a strange response. Oh, hold up. What can you do? Either I keep it to myself and I just have to cope with the idea that one of the biggest influencers in the Genshin space doesn't trust me, and potentially the entire friend group by extension, which he does not get. He does not get how much influence he has over this space with all of the content creators that he has influence over. He does not get it. And nobody can tell him to his face about how much of a problem he is because of the people he's involved with. And it's horrible. Or do I do exactly what
You know, sometimes I do wish I keep my viewer base to like literally right now, because if I grow too big, you network with like the wrong people, and then shit like this happens, and everyone thinks you're a shit person if thing goes wrong.
Forced him into a lose-lose situation where Braxophone, and admittedly, his words not mine, is weak-minded, could easily be manipulated into doing exactly what he wants. I end up making a vague twit longer, talking about burning out and being perpetuated as not having many friends. COVID isolation hit me hard, and YouTube is an at-home job, so I just felt really alone. It's also worth noting I was diagnosed with depression and medicated for a few months later. That's so bad. That is so bad. Isolated for nothing. Because of one guy got a bad read. Josh DM'd me. Who's Josh? Who is this Josh? Does anyone know?
Who the fuck is Josh?
Anybody know who Josh is? This his husband? Okay. Let's continue. Josh DM'd me, just extending a helping hand and being kind, as he was when he met at the party initially. But he also mentioned he stepped up to bat for me. I don't want to... Stepped up to bat for me. What? That's the same thing that people said that MTash said. What does that mean, stepped up to bat for me? I don't want to share our DMs out of respect for his privacy, but a very nice message to receive. But I also thought it was weird that he had to go up to bat for me. What did I do? Why was he having to go up to bat for me? What were people even talking about at that point? What? Eventually I said, I didn't notice that the first time I read this. My mental health is more worth than that. And I told a couple of my close friends. Every single one of them thought it was weird as... But one of them told me that they had to hear from someone else, they didn't want to name the one who told them to trust me, that I couldn't be trusted. And so I asked more friends, and another friend told me the same thing.
No.
But they also didn't want to implicate who had warned them about me. What the...
Oh, that's horrible. Oh, he has controlled everyone. It's like fucking It's like fucking Epstein.
To working against him for nothing. Man, I sure wonder who that is. Man, I sure wonder. The worst thing is, boys, we're not even 20% of the way done with all this. There's more.
What?
During all that time, exclusive meetups, get-togethers.
What a fucking narcissist.
From 2021 to now, they happen at every con and at random Hoyoverse events. Every time I would be asked by a friend if I'm going to that party, that get-together, that dinner, and every time I would say, what? Because I was never invited. So I do some digging. Who's putting these together? Atsu, or someone in that immediate circle. I found out that Atsu managed to talk to Hoyoverse into sponsoring a shit ton of creators to go to the events. I was told he took a pay cut for it, which is incredibly kind of him. But the idea that he can get Hoyoverse, a company that notoriously does whatever they want, to do it, sponsor more people, is concerning to me. I'll return to this bit later, though. Now,
I gotta listen to the other side. Holy shit.
Why would they do that? Why would they do that? Naturally, I wondered why I was excluded. Did some more digging and found out that I was explicitly blacklisted from those events.
Damn.
Because those events were not small.
What?
They would say small get-together, but it would be every single Genshin creator and also creators outside of Genshin. Almost every one of my friends in attendance at the event that precedes the party, dinner, whatever, would get an invite. And some of them were told specifically not to let me know they are happening. What the did I do? Why couldn't anyone tell me I was excluded from everything? And
Yeah,
guess
that's
what?
the one thing I don't like. Why him? Why
You know who else
Braxophone?
was
You know?
banned? Me. You know who else was banned? M-Tashed. Weird, right? One time, oh, this is still happening.
So Braxophone
I
and
understand
M-Tash,
that
holy shit.
Not a part of Atsu's friend group, but if he or others is inviting every single one of my friends who he's spoken 3 sentences to ever, of course they're gonna go hang out with the cool kids that they don't get to talk to too often, and dancing around me. That means Atsu has apparently found or concocted some reason to distrust me so badly that he would rather invite complete strangers who he still didn't even try to get to know me. What's this? I skipped? Okay. Let's continue. One time when I found out about a party hosted by some Hoyoverse creators to a friend, that friend and the person that invited me got into trouble with the host. Why is it so deep? What reason do you have to try and keep it that much of a secret? What did I do? Why is it such a problem if I even know about it? To be fair, I don't think this party was hosted by Atsu, but it was held by people close to him. It felt like he had painted a picture of me so foul that people I had never even met or interacted with would go out of their way to ensure they never, ever cross paths with me. And you know what the worst thing is? I bet you not a single one of them ever questioned his word. Because I bet you they're not allowed to. They're just like, oh, Atsu said it, so it must be true. I guarantee you they didn't even ask. Let's continue. And dancing around, that means Atsu has apparently found or
God,
concocted some
this
reason to
situation
trust
makes
so
me feel
badly that he
so
would rather invite
uncomfortable.
complete strangers who still didn't even try to get to know than me. Remember, at this point, we interacted a total of 3 times.
So,
and none of them
because what I'm thinking is like, it's just not Atsu that's like at fault, but like literally everyone else who just kind of like not question, just goes whatever Atsu say. I actually don't even know who Atsu is up until this point. Who the fuck is he?
A couple new people are invited at random, but the same core people are invited nearly every time with very few exceptions. But listen to this. How strange is it that every single Hoyo event invites Atsu, especially when he is not when he's not only not the top streamer or YouTuber in the Genshin, or
Yeah, I literally don't know him.
but he's also not anywhere close to the cheapest large creator for them. After all, some large creators work for Hoyoverse for free. I have been asked to keep who confidential, so I will not be identifying them. So, the contracts are fake, huh? For the record, I don't know what the contract is about. Never said anything like Atsu's choosing what creators are being put on a contract. But there are many people who have said they are afraid of interacting with Atsu negatively in fear that he might make them lose them. Let's continue. Or at least tarnish the reputation with the company and that friend group. Let's continue. There was a Hoyoverse lunch dinner at Anime NYC one year that I was excluded from. And to be honest, it didn't bother me much since it's just food and hanging out with people. I can do that on my own. But what's so weird is that people called it Atsu's birthday party. There were photos with a Zhongli birthday cake and everything. Was it really a Hoyoverse event? Or did a Hoyoverse staff member want to celebrate Atsu's birthday on Hoyo's dime? If so, that makes sense of why I wasn't invited. Though, to be fair, there were some creators I don't think Atsu was friends with, so this is just speculation on my part, and it really was a Hoyoverse get-together. Either way, this was just a segue into something else I want to talk about, which is Atsu's very close relationship with a Hoyoverse staff member. I'm not going to name drop them.
Oh no.
And to be clear, I don't think it's a bad thing to be friends with Hoyoverse staff. But because Atsu is friends with them, they want to do things to help Atsu, their friend. And somehow, any event Atsu's invited to, sponsor or not, I am specifically left out. If there's a rotation of creators being invited, guide creators, lore creators, people that just want to vibe, they've all gone through, and it hasn't gotten to me yet. And I know that Atsu invited specific Hoyoverse staff to those events and parties that he's hosted or
How the fuck long is this
because
video?
I also had friends who'd attend. And those
2
friends
hours.
became
Oh
one
my
of the
god.
interesting
That's fuck.
I'm not going to name drop any names in relation to this because I don't want to implicate or share the stories before they're ready to come out themselves. At one of the parties, a specific creator that he may or may not want to protect caused a lot of trouble for both Atsu and some of the girls at the party. Everyone is being told to shut the fuck up about it and not talk about what happened. What the fuck is that? I can confirm that the cake was not paid for by any Hoyoverse money. Thank you, Joanna. Everyone is being told to shut the fuck up about it and not talk about what happened. Maybe that's what Atsu meant when he said I couldn't keep things confidential. That I couldn't keep secrets about harassment peer pressure, and more. What do I know? I wasn't there. I just heard the same story from two different people who were. And those stories also align with other things
Okay,
I've been told.
fuck, I'm so... Who the fuck is Atsu? Because I legit don't know who Atsu is. Hold on. Hold on. Atsu. Atsu. Asian... yeah, it's Asian guy streaming, of course. Atsu responded. Asmongo reacted. Okay, fuck. Holy shit. Yeah, okay. Fuck. I'm gonna have to watch all this audio. Holy shit. How does this... What? What the hell? I think I remember Asian guy stream. Yeah, I remember Asian guy. Huh. You know what? I'll watch the shorter version.
Hello. Today was crazy.
Hello, MTash. It's been a while.
When I started the stream, I looked kind of like that. I was chilling, and there was so much drama dropping all at the same time, overnight, in the morning. I couldn't believe it. There was a ton of people coming out against Atsu. Braxophone made a post last night, which I did a whole video on. But I wanted to talk to Atsu today because I only gave one
You should watch Wins Phillies FBI Most Wanted 16
However, in
year
the
old.
morning, as things continued on, more and more
I'm gonna
people
watch
started
this
to
after.
come
I'm
out
gonna
and
watch
talk
this
about
that
Atsu
after this
and
because I'm kind of
experiences that
I'm
they
so
had
deep
with
into
Atsu
this
or Asian guy streams.
drama that I want to see
Now, by
how
the
it
beginning of the
goes.
stream, I was looking like this, and by the end of the stream, or in the middle of the stream, I put on a suit jacket and I was slicking back my hair, and things were starting to get wild. And as it continued, it just got crazier until all of a sudden I was in a discussion with Asmongold on stream, going over the facts. The facts. And that is the tough thing. And if you go watch Asmongold's
Quote unquote
reaction,
facts.
and you watch all the stuff that I talk about, the tough thing here is there are very few facts. There are very few provable
fuck,
things
hold
here.
on. This
And
curve
it is
is
a
so
whole lot
difficult
of
to
junior
draw.
high drama, essentially, that has just continued to fester and grow in the community with thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people egging it on in the chats, in the subtweets, in the DMs. It just kept going and going and going. So at the end of the day, whether you like Atsu or you hate Atsu, there isn't verifiable, proof that he sewered people's contracts and ruined their relationships with Hoyoverse. However, in my discussion or debate with him, while we were discussing things and going over some of these things, I did make it known that it seemed odd that there were so many people coming out against Atsu and saying, I didn't feel welcome in the community, or it seemed like he ostracized me, it seemed like he pushed me away. Braxophone said that he reached out to Atsu about a contract, wondering how much money should I get paid. And even though Atsu may not have sewered the deal and told Hoyoverse do not sponsor Braxophone, the one thing that I alluded to and I discussed is, at the end of the day, Braxophone, to me, seems like a pretty regular dude. And in the interactions we've had, seems like a pretty regular dude.
Yeah,
and with
yeah,
some of the
Braxophone seems
stories
pretty
other
chill.
people said about him, they're saying, we don't even fully understand why Atsu doesn't like Braxophone as much as he does, okay? But whatever it ended up being, these two over there, they did not get along. They didn't get along, and I don't know all the details because it's hearsay. It's both of their opinions on the other person. But from what I've heard and what I've seen, it's hard to believe that it wasn't Atsu's fault that things fell apart. I definitely think that Braxophone made mistakes, and you should go and see all the stuff. You should read all the stuff. I think Braxophone made some mistakes in their relationship. But instead of Atsu pulling him aside and being like, hey man, you're not giving off a good vibe and giving him another chance, he essentially just excommunicadoed him and never really gave him a chance. Now, Braxophone also reached out after they had had a falling out, and he asked him about a contract, and Atsu answered it. But Atsu also revealed that he, after that discussion, asked Hoyoverse about said contract. And both Asmongold and myself said that is really fishy, because even if he didn't go to Hoyoverse and say,
Don't work with Braxophone. You can't trust this guy. We don't like him.
even bringing up the fact that Atsu now knows about the contract could be enough to break confidentiality clauses and cause that contract to get sewered. But the question is, well, why would you even go to Hoyoverse and ask about said contract unless you were going to persuade them one way or the other? So it's a lot of these different things where I mentioned
that looks better.
Occam's razor.
I hated
When
the
you're
white
presented
thingy.
with the evidence from both sides and it's trying to explain the same thing.
There we go.
You
Oh,
usually
so
have to
much easier
go
on the
with
eye now. Holy
more
shit.
likely thing. With all the people saying, and with my experience of Braxophone, do I believe that Braxophone was a creepy, untrustworthy leecher that was just trying to push his brand, push his agenda, force his way into the friend group, and was overall a bad person that only cared about creators bigger than him?
No.
I have a hard time seeing that. Could it
Yeah, I don't
be
see that.
that Atsu didn't like the guy, didn't get along with him, they had a couple bad interactions, and it snowballed? I'm thinking it's potentially more likely. And I'm not going to say that Atsu went out and sewered the guy and ruined his contracts, but it did not help him. I cannot imagine it help him. And other creators like Dish said in other tweets, Dish said, like if we go to Dish's Twitter, she even said and replied to Braxophone and kind of said, I don't know why no one trusted you. I have to maybe go to the replies. She said, I don't know why Atsu didn't really trust you. I cannot speak to all the claims, and I'm processing it. But I want to tell you that I was very confused with Atsu's distrust for you. And so if someone distrusts you that much that he's telling his group of friends that are all in the Hoyo pocket that you can't be trusted, you have to imagine that that would impact your opportunities with the company. And it would impact your friendships. And it would impact
Literally
people
no
who
proof
Braxophone
whatsoever,
said
huh?
was really nice. Maybe she isn't as willing to get close to him because she's unsure and didn't want to do her due diligence because of Atsu. And so it's this really convoluted thing where, again, it's kind of like telephone tag. It's like, don't trust this guy. Why? Just trust me. And then the next person says, apparently we're not supposed to trust that guy. I'm not sure why, but don't do it. And then by the end of it, it's like, yeah, that guy's super untrustworthy. I can't remember why, but just don't trust him. It's a
Literally
perpetuated
because.
thing over and over and over again that stems from one disagreement. And so I think
So pretty much everyone's at fault here.
Braxophone made some mistakes in their relationship.
Literally everyone is
and
at fault,
in their
Jesus Christ.
interactions. And if you go and read through this post, I think there's multiple things that he did that were a little off. He essentially doxed a VTuber, but the VTuber said, I'm a nobody, don't worry about me. He had no idea, and he didn't know you're not allowed to just post a group photo with a bunch of people that are willing to take a photo with you. If you take a photo with someone and they never say, hey, don't post that, by the way, because I'm a VTuber, how the hell are you supposed to know?
Yeah.
You're a bunch of people, you're having some laughs, maybe you're having a drink, you got your arm around each other, let's take a picture. Why would you think, unless someone says it, you can't post that online, though, you idiot? It's like a weird social thing that some people have never experienced. And so, did Brax do that? Yes. But is he a bad person, evil person for doing it? Not really. There was a weird thing with the voice actor, and this was another point of contention, where Braxophone had heard from someone that a voice actor in the Genshin community was sus. And to warn people about it, especially if they've been interacting. And so the way I read through this, and from what I've heard from both sides, is Braxophone went up to Atsu. They've only met a couple of times, and he was like, hey, like, I see you've been talking to that person. You might want to be careful. Now, Atsu took that as, that's weird. Why would you bring up this drama? I don't even really know you. But then he also admits that he cut ties with that voice actor. So, if you did cut ties with that voice actor, and you didn't really trust that voice actor, then Braxophone coming up to you about that voice actor, not to trust him, is that an untrustworthy thing for Braxophone to do? Is that a bad thing for Braxophone to do? He was just warning you about someone that you ended up cutting ties with anyways, right? And so the whole narrative of Braxophone untrustworthy, Braxophone is elite, Braxophone is bad, it's harder and harder and harder for me to believe Atsu. Now, Atsu says, I did not sewer these contracts. I did not say don't work with him. But I can't imagine he did any favors. But again, this is something that cannot be proven, and saying otherwise is slander, or potentially slander for any party. If Tectone, if Brax, if
Oh yeah,
I
the slander,
say
which
that
can result in
Atsu
a
sewered
lawsuit
contracts,
and money.
we'd better be able to prove it, or else we are getting into slander territory. And so we need to be
And
really
slander
careful
is
here.
illegal.
And if Atsu said, I did not do that, well, unless we can prove, or someone proves otherwise, then it's kind of a nothing burger. We can't really do anything about it. But the one thing that people are saying, I got Atsu, or I cooked Atsu, is there is a moment where we're discussing where Atsu says, I went to bat for you because I know you didn't have a great relationship with Hoyovers, yada yada. I tried to help patch it up. And the argument is, well, if you have enough of a connection that you can potentially save blacklisted MTASH, do you not potentially have enough of a connection to say, but don't work with Braxophone, or don't work with this person, or that person? If you are even considering, if I reach out, maybe I can help out MTASH, you could absolutely reach out and sewer someone. And I made the same argument that this could happen with anyone. I've worked with Manscaped in the past. I just did a commercial with Advil. And if Advil asked me...
Really?
about a
Advil does
person,
advertisement? No
my
way.
opinion of them could potentially sway if they work with them or they don't. We all have a lot of power. And so that's where a lot of these allegations are coming from, is the people that are on the in crowd with Hoyoverse are doing things with Hoyoverse. Some of them are getting paid, some of them are flying out to these events, and then some people on the out crowd are not. And it's hard not to think that the in crowd is potentially sewering everyone else. And so that's where a lot of these allegations come from. But it just kept going and going and going. And there are so many back and forth things, and many of these drama pieces, much of this beef, is between these creators, and there's nothing I can do about it. I will never solve this. Enviosity came out with a massive thing about Tectone, saying that Tectone caused a lot of grief. 18 pages here of him saying that Tectone has caused a ton of grief in Envy's life.
What?
He even brought up some of Tectone's old marriage stuff, which this seemed like a bit of a character assassination, or like it didn't seem super relevant to it all. He essentially just said Tectone's a bad dude and here's why, but this is like a side tangent from like why Tectone made him feel
Irrelevant.
stuff, but
They're just rubbing the salt on a wound.
this is all some creators' opinion of the other creators. Did Tectone shit talk Envy? Yes. Did some of Envy's chat go into Tectone's stream and say, you're a whale, free to play, Envy is better? Probably, because that happened to me all the time. So the only thing I can speak on is I know that Envy's audience was very annoying through the beginning of Genshin. It happened all the damn time. But was Envy sending his audience to Tectone or to my stream to be annoying? No. I cannot imagine any situation where Envy did that to me. I can't imagine. With Tectone, could there be some beef because they were giving it back and forth? Maybe. But you have to remember, again, this is schoolyard fighting. And
Literally, it's literally high school slap fight. What the fuck? They're worse than high school
it's a couple
girls.
of people plus 30,000 other people going, Envy talk shit, Tectone talk shit, MTASH talk shit, Atsu talk shit. Everyone is pointing and pointing and doing and doing and doing. It's stupid. It's so immature. And so the big allegations, I wanted to see if I could get an answer.
They're all acting like
Did
children.
you
Holy
sewer
fuck.
a contract? Did you
And I'm
cause
younger than
someone
all of
to
them.
lose a contract? And we may never get that answer. And we probably won't get that answer. And I would like to believe that no one would be that rude and evil. But we'll never know officially, and so we can't talk about it anymore. And with many of these things, these relationships that have been asunder, it's hard to ignore the fact that Sip Sip Steven and all these different people are coming out and talking about Atsu and not think, It is odd that it seems to have happened multiple times. Because even myself, Atsu dunked on me, but so did Tectone. So did a lot of different people, and the mass majority of the creators dunked on me. So I've been in this position with Atsu, but I've also been in this position with Tectone. And luckily, I've been able to move through this, and I've been in a situation where I think I'm pretty chill with everyone. I'm just not super close with everyone. But enough people feel strongly enough about Tectone that they've made multiple posts saying, we don't like Tectone, we think he's bad, we think he's toxic, we've come out against him. There's
I mean,
also been
even
5,
so,
6,
even if you
7
don't
people
like
now, as
him,
of today,
you
that have
can't
come out
say
saying,
like he's
"We
wrong
think
or
Atsu
anything if you have
has
no
been a
proof.
problem and has ostracized us from the community. So no one here, the main players here, are completely guilty. And then there's people like Dish, and there's people like Tuwano that are friends with one group, and they're like, I'm not sure what to say, Braxophone, I never had anything against you, but Atsu did. It seems like there's a bunch of people that are just players within it, that they're not major players, they were just around it. And they didn't stop it, they were bystanders in a lot of it. And at this moment in time, it does not seem that much of this will end.
They're bystanders until
Tectone is
they
still,
became the problem,
you know,
or they get in
Tectone.
the crossfire.
Atsu is still with his friend group, and they're going to do their thing, and will probably never forgive Tectone. But the only thing is, as we discussed all this, Braxophone and Atsu did discuss potentially talking off stream, out of the limelight, out of the drama, to patch things up and recover. And maybe these creators apologize and say, I was shitty, I was trying to grow my brand, I was doing my thing, whatever it is. I don't know where it goes from here. All I know is I am done. And I made a post about it, and this is all I want.
I highly doubt that's how they're gonna go.
You're the
Like, I
faction
highly
right
doubt like they're gonna say
It
sorry or
sucks.
whatever.
The whole community is pointing fingers at each other, and it's hard to be friends or really trust
Because
anyone.
they're
Number 2, there's a lot of
children.
allegations that are very difficult to even find proof
They're all literally
Nobody
children.
can prove they said or didn't say things, but there's just a lot of allegations being thrown around. Number 3, everyone's feelings in this are valid. Envy being upset at Tectone has a reason. And Tectone feeling betrayed by some of them has a reason. And Atsu feeling hurt and frustrated with Tectone, all these different things have validity. And everyone has their own story in it. But at the end of the day, I said, this just feels like it's been 2.5 years or 3 years of beef that has just exploded and been impacted from chat and all sorts of other people subtweeting and making it worse and worse and worse. No one ever apologized, and no one ever will. I doubt anyone will back down at this point and say, I was wrong, it was my fault. Because then they lose and everyone judges them, and they're going to cancel the hell out of them.
Yeah, no one's
I
gonna say
hope that
sorry.
moving forward,
That's what
they
I've been
can all
saying.
just shut the hell up and say, yeah, we all sucked. Let's just go our separate ways. We're going to be split up in the playpen. And probably they will never get back together and be friends ever. But at the end of the day, I don't want to deal with this stuff anymore. But even though I made a video saying, this is the final video, it just got so much worse, and so much worse, and so much worse, that it's hard not to discuss it. But
Let's
I
see.
think that this is, I think this is something that, after discussing with everyone, I feel like I wasted a lot of life here. I wasted
Real.
2-3 days talking about drama that it really did boil down to, like, I think you did this. I don't have proof you did it, but I think you did it. And then the other person saying, well, I think you did this. I don't have proof, but I think you did it. And it's just a bunch of
Noise.
fighting.
It's literally a bunch of noise.
Fighting with other creators, of colleagues. No one's getting along. And at the end of the day, it's just a lonely, sad community. And
Genshin community, everyone.
the only saving grace is with a lot of this stuff coming out, you can go through the messages yourself. You can understand all angles of this, and you can make your determinations. And at the end of the day, if you want to follow me and you want to watch my content because you like me, that's cool. But if you don't like where I landed on this stuff, that's on you, that is fine. If you go through all of this stuff and you look at Braxophone or you look at Atsu and you look at all the things that went on and you don't want to listen to them or follow them, that's up to you. But I would recommend if you for some reason care a lot about this drama, do your own research on this thing. But I'm telling you, a lot of it is just immaturity. It is just stupid fighting.
Hearsay.
It is ego upon ego upon ego. And I tried to get to the bottom of it. And I
Hearsay.
tried to see if
Objection.
there was
Hearsay.
a secret answer here or something that was missing. And at the end of the day, it's just dumb. I think it's one of the most dumb drama things I've ever seen. I almost wish that there was like some corrupt major thing that happened. I almost wish there was this like moment that can be proven that someone stole money from someone or someone shanked someone. Like, I don't want someone to shank someone, but
There is no proof, no nothing.
it just seems like passing notes in the back of the class. So, at the end of the day, I would like to get back to our normal content. HSR is dropping soon, and I am not going to fight with anyone. I am not coming out with a twit longer about Atsu. I'm not coming out with a twit longer about Tectone. I've given my opinion that I think everyone messed up. I think Tectone was a dick. I saw him repeatedly be a dick to Enviosity. I did a stream with Atsu and Tectone where you know, Atsu was trying to say, hey, Envy's like, you know, you're kind of hurting his feelings, and Tectone never backed down. But at the same
Never
time,
back down, never what? Never give up.
I see all the people coming out about Atsu as well, and Tectone called out some of this stuff, and you know, it's almost like Tectone's trying to stand up for some of those people as well, and it's just messy. It's so messy. But I don't want to fight with Atsu. I don't want to fight with Tectone. I don't want to fight with Brax. I don't want to fight with anyone. I just want to make my content, and if I see them on the street, I just want to wave and say, hey, hope you're having a good day. But it's hard for me to get close to anyone. It's hard for me to trust anyone at this moment in time, other than some people.
Yeah, this
that,
is
like,
why I think I'd rather stay
from
alone.
what I know,
It's
they've
one of
never
the
done
reasons
anything
why
wrong.
I'd rather stay alone.
But
Whenever, if I happen to become like, I don't
This is just
know, well
crazy.
known or something.
That being said, I appreciate all the views. I saw a lot of really nice comments towards me because I did try to just understand a lot of this, and I had a lot of people comment about how they enjoyed my reactions to a lot of these things and my level-headedness. And I would consider covering topics that aren't drama related but are big news and doing more reaction type content that isn't so fostered in negativity, because a lot of you do seem to like my opinion on things, and it's been doing really well on the channel. But I don't know, I still want to make my guides, want to still do my stuff, but it's been an interesting experiment going down this path. But this whole thing was draining, and I don't feel good.
Yeah, all of this and I
feel
still
like I
am
accomplished
lost.
anything. There was
Well,
no
not lost,
happy
not
outcome.
exactly lost, but like,
It's just sad.
what the
It's just proof
fuck is
that
this about? Like,
this community will never get along.
this guy doesn't trust this guy for no reason, and that's about
The other
it.
thing,
That's
though, is,
literally
like,
that's
it was
that's
really
what it's
cool
boiled
to
down to. This guy doesn't trust this guy, and
talk
that's
to,
about it. That's literally about it.
Asmongold. I haven't really got to talk to the guy before, and I didn't say much because I was kind of letting him cook and do his thing. But,
Let him cook.
What I do respect is he wanted proof. If someone made a claim, when Brax made a claim, he said, okay, you put this in quotations. Did someone say this or not? Did someone say this or not? And prove it. And, you know, I think he was pretty unbiased.
Basic
Well, no,
etiquette.
I shouldn't say that,
Make some.
because he's definitely
If you
technical,
claim
so
something
there's
is
gonna be some
something,
bias, but
you gotta
he
prove
wanted
it.
to know if there is a quote, was someone saying that, can you prove that this was saying or said? And you know, I think he did a decent job discussing with all the different parties, and I think that, you know, he wraps it up at the end the way I am. You can't fully crucify anyone because we don't have the facts. That's all there is to it. I wish there was a better answer for you, but there is no finale. There's no end, really. So, that's it. Have a good day, everyone. See you later.
Okay, Vince Village. FBI's. FBI most Wanted. 16-year-old. Colton? No, not Colton. Vincent Village. Or Vince Vintage.
Flying
28.
in a stolen airplane, Colton's mission was to escape the United States into Canada. But as he quickly glanced at the gauges, oh my god, the plane's running out of gas. But he couldn't land at the airport. There'd be federal agents there waiting to arrest this. So he finds a flat patch within the mountains, lines up the plane, puts down the flaps, prays to God, and
it crashed.
Now, thank God he'd actually made it out alive, because Colton didn't have his pilot's license. He'd actually never even flown an airplane. Because Colton was 16 years old, stealing over 6 airplanes while committing 67 felonies in 3 different countries on the run.
Oh my god, he's a
3 years.
he's literally like the he's literally the Instagrammers
Hold that seat tight, because it's gonna be a wild ride.
Instagram commenter.
Now, Colton Harris Moore was never the cool kid in school.
Something like that.
Picked on
I
him,
don't know.
nobody talked to him,
I
and all he
can't
wanted
speak.
was what the other kids had: a clean pair of shoes, a simple haircut, and parents who just gave a shit. But his mom was an alcoholic. His dad never paid the child support. He lived in a trailer park and was forced to scrounge for food. But one day, as the bullies were picking a fight with Colton, the new kid in class stands up to all of them. A kid that had just got out of a 2-year sentence from juvenile hall. Harley Ironwing Davidson.
Ah,
Just
friends
like
with
Colt,
the
Harley's dad was
fucking
out of the picture,
friend with
his
the
mom was
bad
a junkie,
guy.
but Harley had the trappings of wealthy parents. A new pair of shoes, a laptop, and hell, even an iPod. You see, Harley at the age of 16 had served 2 years for residential burglary, and they were all stolen. Now, Colton had stolen food from the neighbors, but to have everything a kid in the early 2000s would want for free, it was enticing, and Harley was going to teach him. Meeting at the cul-de-sac at midnight, Harley shows him how to pick a lock, find the hidden spare keys, and lays down some basic rules. Don't rob somebody's house if you know who lives there, don't turn on the lights, if you ever get caught or spotted, just run, and never feel guilty. As per Harley's own words, remember, this ain't hurting nobody, everything I've stolen is insured. They'll just reimburse it through their insurance and get something even better. Wise words from someone who's clearly dealt with an insurance company.
That's crazy.
Breaking into dozens of homes over the courses of weeks, Colton's thrill was being able to just eat a good meal, play some video games, and take the spare change you found as lunch money. Now, Colton knew this was bad, but then again, he wasn't hungry anymore, and life was good. But you gotta ask, where were the police in all of this with kids robbing dozens of homes? Well, the San Juan Islands, where they're from, has extreme wealth division. 1 in 3 homes in the area are vacation homes, meaning that's a lot of empty houses all year round. The perfect place for residential
shit.
burglary.
Really
but for
now?
Colton back at home, life was actually getting worse. His mom is now physically addicted to alcohol. He had tried to check her in the rehab. She said no. He had brought AA handbooks for her. She burned them in front of his face, and Child Protective Services were called dozens of times after physical fights broke out between the two. All he wanted was his mom to get her act together so he could be a normal kid and not forced to scrounge for food. But no. She would throw him out in the streets to survive on his own, and he would set up a tent in the middle of the forest, and there you go, at the age of 15. Now, as the neighbors noticed their fridges being
It's
raided
the
of
nature
frozen
versus
pizza and
nurture.
candies,
It's
the
about
murmurs of a mysterious boy
this
who
time.
only broke in
It's
just
about
to
the
eat spread
nurture.
fast across the island. But other neighbors noticed a lot more than just frozen tendies gone missing. At the crack of dawn, the FBI bust down the door at his mom's house. They had a warrant in hand for Colton Harris Moore, and it wasn't for stealing frozen tendies, but for committing identity theft. His mom was shocked. No way it could have been sweet little Colt. He didn't even live at the house anymore. The FBI called BS on that, searched the home, and yeah, Colt really didn't live there. Now, tracking a scent with bloodhounds, they go deep into the woods and come across a tent stuffed at the brim. And as they unzip the door with their pistols drawn out, piles of stuff falls out. We're talking laptops, boxes of jewelry, telescopes, credit cards, driver's licenses, checkbooks, and it all linked back to Colt. But Colt himself was nowhere to be found. Once the trail had gone cold, the feds wrapped it up and called it a day. He was still hiding in that forest. Now, the next morning, a handwritten note shows up on his mom's doorstep. Cops are here. Everything's on lockdown. I'm leaving for Weeachee, won't be back. Cops want to play, huh? Well, it's no little game. It is war. Colt had watched the whole thing go down.
Damn! Oh, what the
now, although
fuck?
the sheriffs there
Oh,
locally
he got the
had no
popcorn.
resources to actually catch him, the FBI now would bring in professional manhunters, made multiple warrants for his arrest, and placed wanted posters all over town. And Colton knew he couldn't go back home. He was truly on his own. And for a town that didn't have a lot going on,
Oh, man's
everyone
living the
was focused on
GTA
trying to
style.
Now he started stealing cars
The
and
lifestyle.
boats and purchased lockpicks and night vision goggles with the stolen credit cards. He would hide out in the empty homes when the FBI helicopters were overhead. The police had pulled up to several homes he was in the middle of breaking into. He managed to escape every time.
What? Really? All of that FBI squad and
only to vanish out the
couldn't
door the
catch
next
him?
without a
No.
trace. And the local newspaper was listing burglaries by the day for months. So to outrun the FBI with professional manhunters for months at the age of 15, I'm not going to condone it, but that's impressive. But if we're as smart as we think Colt is, he had one nasty habit: leaving the lights on. And when residents noticed the lights on in the one neighbor's house who was gone on vacation, they called the cops. Now, dozens of officers surrounded the home without the sirens and lights. He couldn't run this time, and he had been caught red-handed.
Oh, he
Now,
actually
at the age
caught
of
this
16,
time.
any charges Colton would face would not show up on his record as an adult. Theoretically, he could still turn his life around. And while his mom often made excuses for his criminal behavior, this time, the kid was going to have to face the music. So Colt pleaded guilty to 3 counts of residential burglary, and with this history of evading the FBI for months at a time, sentenced to 3 years at a maximum security juvenile jail. And the entire town could sleep at night.
Max security, damn.
Now, while in juvenile jail, Colt once again was the weird kid. Kids pushed him around, stole his commissary money, but these weren't just kids this time. They were full-on gang members.
Of course.
So he isolates himself and filled his days reading about flying airplanes and focused on his schoolwork. His grades got better. He did as he was told. He had planned to get a college degree once he got out, and it seemed that with some structure, he was actually going to change for the better. So in 10 months of this good behavior, he was transferred into a fenceless group home, the kid that had outrun the FBI. But now with the freedom to wear the clothes he wanted and be around kids who weren't in there for violent assault charges, Colt was flourishing. And although he still had 2 years left in his sentence, it felt like he was given another chance at life. As the guards did their midnight body count, they noticed the window unlocked. The bed was empty.
Of
Colton
course.
was missing. He had escaped with an hour head start.
Of
Now,
course.
front page news striking fear into the locals. Residents were furious. The kid they'd spent all of this time trying to catch, and to think that he wouldn't escape. I mean, come on. His mom went to the press and pleaded for him to turn himself in, and Colt was left with 2 choices. Now, escaping from juvenile jail could add up to 4 years on top of your sentence, but the police were so desperate to catch him because of the whole goose chase, they publicly said it would only give him an additional 28 days if he turned himself in. So he'd get out at 19, start his life with nothing on his record, or hide his identity with the warrant out for his arrest for the rest of his life. And as a 17-year-old kid
That's
now with
that's
a brain
actually not
fully
bad.
developed, the kid kept running. So with the heat on his mom's
But
house, Colt
but
thought
you don't
maybe
trust
his
a
old
cop.
friend
You never
Harley
trust a
Iron
cop.
Wing Davidson
That's
could
the
give him a
thing.
place
You
to
never
hide
you
out
never
when he
trust the
needed help.
cops.
But soon he found out that Harley was now in prison. He had tried to steal a 1,000-pound safe from his mom's church. So with nowhere to go, Colt began breaking into homes, purchasing the lockpicks, the night vision goggles, the stolen credit cards, all to make his burglaries even easier. And for 3 months, Colt is breaking into dozens of homes, and the police have no idea where he's at. Until the police were in pursuit of a Mercedes-Benz driving 100 miles an hour down the road. Now, the
Damn.
car veered off in the parking lot, crashed into a tree, and when police pulled up, it looked as if the driver had jumped out of the car while it was moving and ran off into the forest. Now, inside the car, they found a backpack
Bro
filled
is
with the
bro
stolen
is
credit
literally
cards,
GTA.
driver's licenses,
Bro is
night
literally the
vision
main
goggles, and
character in a
digital
GTA
camera that
game.
had
What
these
the
photos
fuck?
on it. It was Colton Harris Moore with that goddamn Mona Lisa smile. Soon the image was on wanted posters all over the county. Now, throughout that summer, hundreds of residents called 911 with encounters and sightings of Colt. He even had encounters with the police, but every time he kept getting away. But how was that possible, you might ask? It's estimated that 80% of all burglaries are committed by people on drugs. But Colt, he was sober. Every house he broke into always had the alcohol untouched. He didn't have a car, so they couldn't pull him over. He lived off of the grid, and most importantly, the kid was young and healthy. But as the legend of
That's
Colton
actually
Harris Moore
impressive.
grew with his Facebook fan page at 15,000 members, the town was on edge. The gun shop sold out of ammos and shotguns. Security cameras were placed everywhere, and residents assumed every crime in the town was Colt's fault. I mean, a 17-year-old burglar with nothing left to lose? Yeah, that's gonna keep you up at night. Stalking the local airport on the Orcas Islands for days, Colt was hiding out in the forest, watching the takeoffs and landings. He knew when the staff worked, where they would be at, and took action. Before sunrise, he walked up to a brand new Cessna 182 Skyline. He had flown this plane in video games hundreds of times. He had knew roughly how to fly it, maybe even how to start it. He found the keys on the seat, read the owner's manual, rolled the plane out to the runway, and without much thought, started the engine and took off.
Holy
Now,
shit.
flying into the mountains, Colton couldn't believe it. That adrenaline burst of actually flying a plane without a license. Now, you may wonder, how was this possible? Wouldn't air
But did
traffic
he
control
land?
see
I
a
don't think he
random
landed.
plane that never reported itself and maybe think it's a little suspicious? Well, in America, if you don't cross any restricted flying areas and stay under 18,000 feet, you're free to fly wherever the f you want. But you see, in flying, landing is the hardest part. And once Colt looked at the gas gauge and realized he was almost out because he never checked it before he left, he needed to land now. So he finds a flat patch within the mountains, lines up the plane, prays to God, and
crashed.
The landing gear was destroyed, the propeller was twisted up, and once Colt woke up from being knocked out, he threw up all over the plane. After 6 months of no reported break-ins or burglaries within the area, locals
Man,
thought
this part of the
maybe
hair
he
is
was
hard.
done,
I don't know how to
maybe
draw this
even
part.
dead, but his war against the police was still very on. So arriving in the town 6 months later, he gets into a police car, he steals the officer's cell phone, ticket book, breathalyzer, laptop, and his MP-15 assault rifle
What?
with a box of rounds.
Oh,
So far,
fuck.
he hadn't harmed anyone physically, but now he was armed. Who knew what he was capable of?
If he gets backed into a corner because of everything that he's done, you know, if he has a weapon, I wouldn't put it past him to use it.
Now, while some saw the act as daring, others loved that a kid was sticking it to the cops, living life on his terms. A Robin Hood that didn't give back to the poor, but instead had a fan club selling merch with his face on it. And Colin made sure to give his fans a great show. So on
I think
September 8th, he steals a
what's
$250,000
his
boat
nick-
and
I think I
heads
heard
towards
this
the
story
Friday
before. I
Harbor.
think his
There,
nickname
he
was
stalks
like, I
the
don't know,
local
Bandit
airport
or something.
and steals
No,
a
no,
$1
not
million
Bandit.
airplane. This
Not
time he
Barefoot
made sure it
Bandit.
was filled with gas
That's
and
a different
crashed
story.
and lands it all the way back
Never mind.
on the Orcas Islands. Now, the police knew he was there on the Orcas Islands, maybe at the airport or at the dock. Somehow he gets through the police barricade, steals a twin-engine boat, goes full speed all the way up towards Canada, and illegally crosses the border. So over the course of a week, he commits some more burglaries, steals a couple more cars, and road trips all the way across to Creston, Canada, literally the middle of North America. There, he steals an Escalade and heads down the Bonnevers Ferry in Idaho. Mind you, this is a kid doing all of this. Now, the one smart thing Colt never did was fill his car up with gas at a gas station. You know, they have security cameras, they track the cars, easily the police could see where you are probably going. So if a car ran out of gas that Colt stole, he would just leave it there, break into another one, and steal that until he got to his next spot. Pretty smart kid, honestly. A day later, he steals another airplane and flies all the way from Idaho back to Granite Falls, Washington, where he actually lands the plane safely in the middle of the mountains.
Wow,
Now, pretty soon,
actually?
the local hometown once
Never mind.
again
No.
had a huge burst in burglaries. He's doing the usual, living in the empty vacation homes, eating stolen tendies, and also bringing a ton of heat. You see, aircraft theft is one of the rarest forms of theft in the world. Now, rumors at the time were that it was some rogue pilot who had stolen the plane to go on a quick trip to impress some girl he was seeing, but they couldn't be any more wrong. It was a kid. Now, even with the police swarming his hometown, Colt starts breaking into grocery stores, stealing thousands of dollars in cash, and leaving footprints with the tagging, "See ya." Now, he's doing all
What?
of this barefoot.
Oh, that's it.
The media
Oh,
priced
he's
him
taught.
with the name
Oh,
the
my
Barefoot
God.
Bandit.
A stolen airplane and grocery store burglary, complete with telltale chalk outlines of bare feet, has folks on Washington State's San Juan Islands worried the burglar known as the Barefoot Bandit has returned.
Oh, yeah, it is the Barefoot Bandit. Oh my
Police
God.
think the burglary is the handiwork.
It is the
Harris
fucking
Moore.
Barefoot Bandit.
Dean is suspected of
Someone
stealing
told me this story
airplanes, boats,
before.
and luxury cars and breaking into dozens of homes and businesses in the area, only to disappear into the woods without a trace.
Now, people fell in love with Colt. He had a huge fan base. Mind you, it's 2010, the recession's still on, bankers got bailed out, corporations got billions, the common man was kind of screwed out of all of it. So in rejection of all of that, Colt took life into
Go for
his
it.
own
I mean,
hands
yeah, that's
and was
true.
living life on his
That's-
own terms, outsmarting not only the police and the DHS
That's-
and the
that's a
FBI,
valid,
but the government
valid,
itself. Though by now, city officials on the island informed all of the residents that there were now dozens of armed bounty hunters stalking the forest looking for Colt, creeping in their backyards, searching in the empty homes, but Colt was already long gone. On the morning of May 30th, 2010, a letter shows up on the front doorstep of an Oregon animal hospital. Drove by, had some extra cash. Please use this money for the care of the animals. Colton Harris Moore, aka the Barefoot Bandit. For his legion of Facebook fans, I gotta say, that's a smooth move. I mean, who could hate a kid that was from a rough home who just loved some animals? But what it really implied was, you can't catch me. Because Colt had stolen a full-on racing boat and drove all the way towards Oregon, where he had talked over the phone with some attorneys about selling the rights to his life story for a potential movie. But
Ho
the
ho
story just
ho!
couldn't end well. We're talking
Oh,
stolen planes,
that's
stolen
genius.
guns, stolen boats. So another attorney's office comes forward and makes a deal with Colt. Now you see, an anonymous donor said that if Colt turns himself in, Colt would get $50,000, and the attorney's office would represent him at court, all for free. But that deal was to expire within 5 days. We're talking about a fugitive collecting his own bounty. Unheard of. But 5 days later, not a word from Colt. And that anonymous donor
Yep,
is
he's
still
gone.
to this day unknown. Now, the FBI was showing up to his mom's house every day, searching the home, warning her that harboring a fugitive, it's a felony. But all she wanted to know was her son even alive? And she would fall deeper into the pit of alcoholism. Now, over the course of a week, he starts stealing several more cars and starts road tripping all the way to Yankton, South Dakota. Now, arriving at midnight,
That's
he needed a place to
far.
kind of hang out.
It's
So
not
he
a
cased
fucking
out
across the
several
country.
homes in the area until he found the one with no cars in the driveway. He thought if they weren't home by midnight, they were probably gone on vacation. Hungry and filthy, he puts his clothes in the washer at the house. He heats up the oven and makes some frozen tendies for himself. He goes upstairs, gives himself a haircut with the trimmer he found. He finally hopped in the shower to relax after a long week of road tripping.
And then he got
At
caught.
3 a.m., the Clark family had come back from a long vacation. With their eyes
Oh.
half asleep, they headed inside the house with their bags ready to just pass out. But something was off. The TV was still on. Jell-O containers were stacked on the floor. Frozen tendies were heated up. Now, as the dad walks into all of the rooms, he notices at the end of the hallway the bathroom door is slightly open. And as he reaches out to open the door, it slams shut. The dad, a 340-pound dude, muscles the door open until a naked man covered in lotion sprints towards out the basement. Now the dad's chasing,
300
"Get out of the house,
pound
get out of the
dad."
house." And by the time he got to the basement with his adrenaline pumping, a red laser pops up on his chest. Colt let it be known that he was armed. Now the dad locks the basement, runs to the car with his family inside, breaking the garage door as he's backing out, and heads over to his neighbor's house to call 911. Now, Colt's freaking out. He doesn't know what to do. His clothes were still in the washer. I mean, he's literally trapped in the basement. Minutes later, as the officers swarmed the house on the lookout for a naked man covered in lotion with a gun, there was no way on God's green earth Colt was going to get out of this one.
No way. No, he got out.
But once the SWAT team bashed in the door and the K-9s were let loose, and after an hour of searching every nook and cranny of that house, no one was inside.
No.
So with the forest close by, bloodhounds and helicopters,
No,
and
that's
cameras were
crazy.
searching all over the area, but Colt had escaped.
But how?
And this time it was close. Holy. Now you see, Colt had smashed the washer to grab open
Okay,
his
yeah, go
clothes,
figure.
spilling gallons of water into the basement, grabbed his bag, and because he was so skinny, slipped out of the basement window, broke into the neighbor's house, and stole their car keys and dipped out real fast. And after the Clark family was shown a mugshot of Colton, they confirmed that the naked man with the gun covered in lotion was Colton Harris Moore.
Oh,
Now, while the
wow.
FBI didn't know exactly where he was headed or where he was, they had a rough idea. Colt loved to steal near small airports. Now, within the week, Homeland Security held meetings with every private plane owner in all of the surrounding states, warning them of the Barefoot Bandit. They told the pilots to lock their planes, make sure they were safe, don't leave the keys on the seat. And Colt actually knew about these meetings because he had saw Homeland Security going around. Now, for a week, Colton was waiting out in the forest near the Monroe County Airport. You know, reading the magazines he took, surviving off the food he stole, and he was waiting to find the perfect plane to escape the country.
He
Now,
got caught,
Colt knew his
didn't
limits. He would only steal planes that he had flown in video games, which is insane to think about. And on the 4th of July, that moment happened.
4th of July,
During the sunrise,
rawr,
Colt
what the
snuck into
fuck is a
hangar and rolled out
kilometer?
a brand new Cessna 400, about a $700,000 plane with the keys on the seat. He made sure to fill it up with gas, went through the pilot's checklist,
Damn.
started the engine, took off in the plane, and headed down south. Happy 4th of July. Now, doing the math,
Oh,
the
my
Cessna
God.
400 should be able to go all the way to Cuba on one tank of gas, if there was no crazy winds. Now, Cuba's got its benefits. There's no extradition treaty, and even though Colt didn't speak Spanish, he'd figure it out. But instead of Cuba, he had actually flown towards the Bermuda Triangle, and of course, started to run out of gas and needed to land ASAP. Now, flying over
There's
water
no
is
land to
dangerous.
land on, huh?
There is no emergency landing, but luckily, Colt was near some islands. So in between the sand and the palm trees, he finds a patch of land, lines up the planes, puts down the flaps, prays to God, and he lands
Of course he did.
As the wheels touched the ground, they got stuck in the wet sand, absolutely destroying the aircraft. And it would set off the emergency locator transmitter.
He managed to keep it level somehow. As you can see, the nose is in the grass. He got out of that plane reportedly uninjured and headed into the island.
Because within seconds, it had sent a SOS signal to the U.S. Coast Guards via GPS. And Colt knew he needed to get the hell out of there. Now, when the U.S. Coast Guard received the signal, they contacted the owner of the Cessna 400, Mr. Miller, to see if they actually needed the help in the Bahamas. Was it real? Was it a false alarm? Now, imagine yourself owning a $700,000 plane in Indiana, but today it's the 4th of July, you're relaxing. But you get a call from the U.S. Coast Guard about your plane crashing in the Bahamas.
But you have no
You
plane.
would be freaked out. Now, this came as a shock because remember when Homeland Security held those meetings with all the private plane owners, warning them of this kid plane thief? Well, the owner of that plane, Mr. Miller, wasn't there. And after the staff at the hangar confirmed the Cessna 400 wasn't there anymore, the U.S. Coast Guard and Bahamian Defense Force were told the craft was stolen. And most likely, it was Colton Harris Moore.
Of course it is.
In the 5th plane he had stolen. Now, within minutes of the crash landing, Colton walked barefoot into the jungle and towards the first site of civilization. Now, he had actually picked a really good time to come to the Bahamas. It was 4th of July weekend. Tourists are everywhere. So, a random white kid in the city, it makes sense. So as Colt broke into some cars and some homes, he had survived squatting in the empty vacation homes plastered all across the island. But as the week went on, military locked down all of the airports. Police were brought in from other islands, and wanted posters were placed all across of Colt's face.
Bahamas police have been searching for the fugitive for days since his stolen plane was found ditched offshore, but he'd been staying a step ahead of the manhunt. Colby Curry said Harris Moore had a beer in his bar Tuesday night.
He just looked like an average guy. Just came in to get a drink. He didn't really look like no one terrifying. Look at.
Still, the FBI's wanted poster warns Harris Moore could be dangerous. Bahamas police have promised to intensify their hunt for him.
The island was small, but where else could he go? An island hop away, it was the party on the bluff. Music blasting, tiki torches, cheap liquor, tourists partying all on the harbor. But from the ocean, a boat glides in towards the dock, and a white boy yells, "Did you hear about the plane I crashed?" Music cuts, and a local replies, "Who are you?" "Colton Harris." Holy hell, this was the kid from the wanted posters, armed and dangerous.
What the
stolen
fuck?
Planes all over the world.
He literally just announced his presence. That's crazy.
Why he was so far from home. Too many cops. So, where are your cops? Then the local replied, "Well, we don't really have that many cops." "Well, call them. I'm bored. I want to get chased." And as the man thought it was a joke, he started laughing. "Call the cops. I want to get chased for real. Call them." And as the local pulled out his phone, Colt started up his engine and screamed, "I'm gone. Read about me on the internet," and took off.
Oh my god, he's just taunting now. That's crazy. He really is living life.
Now, as Colt was flying across the bay towards the light over at the harbor island filled with hotels and docks, it was the perfect place to go to hide out from the cops, and also maybe to find a better boat. Colt grabbed his pistol, a bag, and sprinted towards the hotel. But then a security guard starts chasing after him. But once the guard saw that pistol, he backed off, realizing he didn't get paid that much. But the guard would call the cops, and he would go back to Colt's boat and made sure to take the keys so Colt couldn't get away. So that call went out to everyone on the island. The police, security guards, armed citizens were searching. Even the military was looking for Colt now. So with the weapons drawn, search teams are combing the island for the next few hours. Police are patrolling all of the harbors. There was no way Colt was going to get out. At 3:30 a.m., one of the officers walked off of the dock to go to the bathroom. And as he's doing his business, he heard a man run outside, jump in a boat, and take off.
Okay, I got...
It was Colt hiding in the bushes, waiting for that
And
perfect
no, not
moment
yet.
the entire time. Officers with machine guns and police boats started chasing him out of the bay. But there was no way to actually catch him because the boat that Colt had stolen was fully capable of outrunning the cops. And even better, had a full tank of gas. See, while the ocean was quiet, the roar of the engines could be heard all across the island. And as Colt looked back, watching the police lights fade into the horizon, he couldn't help but smirk. But just as the boat starts losing speed, he'd realized he had just hit a sandbar and had beached the boat. He gives it more gas, but it only dug him in even deeper. You see, when Colt was looking at the cops, he had missed the boat's GPS warning of the upcoming sandbar, and now he was stuck. His 2-year-long run comes down to this. And honestly, he froze and held his gun to his head. Now, for minutes with the officers, he refused to put his hands up until Colt fired one shot at the officers and gassed up the boat, hoping to make some last escape. But the police would pepper the side of his boat with 20 rounds all throughout the boat's hull. As the smoke cleared, Colt rose his hands and he was placed in the handcuffs. He was done.
Rip.
Now, what's insane is that the Bahamian police actually captured Colt without anyone getting killed. That wouldn't happen in the US, let's be honest. Now, Colt was wanted by the FBI, the US Marshals, dozens of police departments, Homeland Security, Canadian Mounties, and the Bahamian government, and they all wanted him to pay for his crimes. But the Bahamian government had their first pick, and man, were they proud of it. Parading Colt around in that perp walk, and with 5 burglaries, 3 boat thefts, possession of a loaded firearm, firing at an officer, that's probably going to get you a decade at the infamous Bahamian Fox Hill prison.
3 years.
Considered one of the worst prisons in the world. But they only had one charge for Colt, and that was not presenting his passport when he entered the country.
Really?
Was captured Sunday in the Bahamas.
Really? That's it? Oh my god. Oh, that's funny. Oh, that end is just... You didn't... Okay, so you didn't present your passport. That's... What? A year in jail?
I don't think he's too worried about it. I think he's got some more problems waiting for him in the States, though.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's true.
Now, American
There's more problem
prosecutors
in
had
the US.
to wrangle 67 felonies in 3 different countries and wrap it up all into one court case. And honestly, he was looking about 20 to 30 years in prison. Now, Colin had hired one of the most infamous attorneys in the game.
Saul Goodman.
The guy that you call when the evidence is stacked against you.
Saul Goodman.
John Henry Brown. Never heard of it? Ted Bundy's attorney. Now, they had calculated the restitution for the planes, the cars, the homes, the search operations at a staggering $1.4 million that Colt was gonna pay. Now, remember that whole movie deal he was trying to set up, selling his life story? Well, the courts mandated that to pay back all of the victims, he was gonna sell the rights to his life story for a potential movie to Fox Entertainment for $1 million. And then let's say that the victims are paid back in full one day, he still could never make money from anything about his life story. We're talking books, t-shirts, video games, anything. And while this may seem harsh, the courts wanted it to be known that crime doesn't pay. Now, Attorney Brown's specialty isn't defending the crimes, but rather why they happened. Now, they showed that Colt's home life really was that bad. His mom never fed him, his dad never paid the child support, his mom died during her pregnancy.
Fuck, my
and
PS4. My PS4 controller.
Syndrome, and Colt said he was going to go to college after this.
Break.
He was going to get his life together. And the court felt sympathy for Colt, including the judge, stating, "I think this case is a tragedy, but also a triumph of human spirit. I sympathize with the defendant for his terrible upbringing that he had. It was a tragedy he had to steal food, to endure an alcoholic and abusive mother. But nevertheless, the sentence is 6 years. I wish him well." Now, a decade later and out of prison, we don't know much about Colt, about what he's up to today. Now, from the few interviews he's given, he spoke about hating the moniker the Barefoot Bandit, and he wishes to move on from that. And now, I actually contacted Colt to honestly hear his side of the story. What has he been up to? What is he doing? But I got no response. I called him, emailed him, even visited him in Washington. Friends say that he changed his number and he went off of the grid, and no one knows where he's really at.
Yeah, pretty fun. I heard like a short story of it from someone else, but yeah, it's pretty nice to listen to the whole thing and his real name and stuff. What is the other real of who? Of a totally illegally spying on millions. Hold on. Copy. Paste. This toy illegally spied on 6.4 million. How much time do we got? We don't have much time. Okay, 15 minutes is good enough. Yeah, we have good enough.
Electronic toy maker VTech admitting tonight it's been targeted by hackers.
The latest hack impacts children. 5 million people worldwide have had their data stolen.
Why would this hacker want, hundreds or thousands of photos of children or whatever else that they're collecting?
Well, let's find out today. So to understand this story, we need to take it back a year. So it's Christmas morning, and you just bought both of your kids the brand new VTech EnoTab 3 learning tablet.
I never heard
Man,
of this.
Your kids are stoked. So behind the
What
screen,
is this?
you're
EnoTab?
down, you're going to be safe on the web. But more importantly, they're gonna learn. Now, maybe you're not super tech savvy being a boomer and all, but at least with VTech, you can send your kids videos, photos, pictures, all from your smartphone. But don't worry, it's all age appropriate.
With VTech Kid Connect, you get the comfort of hearing each other's voice.
I love you, Mom.
Anywhere, anytime.
And for you, this tablet is just another device to add to your Wi-Fi network, like your smartwatch or smart mug. And VTech tells you that all of your data is going to be safe. But connecting everything we own to the internet opens up a new can of worms for us, because this toy isn't designed for security, it's designed to have fun. And what VTech failed to tell you was how much illegal data they would collect on your child. And even worse,
I think I remember I wanted this toy when I was a little guy. My parents never got it for me.
now, hacker can kind of be a cringe word, honestly. We often think the black
Yeah, I never
boys,
had
green
this
cats, Adderall,
because
baby
I wasn't
brains,
in
but
the
that's more
US.
of a Hollywood trope. You see, real hackers are interested in making a system do what it was never intended for. Hackers look for exploits. And when a group of hackers found this new VTech tablet, they did what they do best. Online forums sprung up dedicated to just hacking the InnoTab 3. One guy figured out how to run Doom on it. Of course he did. Another guy was able to get root access in the Linux operating system. And pretty soon, this children's tablet had its own little thriving hacking community all online. Now, Slipstream was a 21-year-old security researcher working for Malwarebytes, which is pretty impressive, honestly. And he knew a bit more than your average Joe when it came to finding exploits. So when he stumbled upon this VTech hacking farm, he became fascinated with the community. So he picked one up at his local store. So after a few weeks of messing around with it, he discovered the tablet talked to a website pretty often, planetvtech.com. Now, there's really nothing out of the ordinary with that, but when he checked the site, he kind of noticed a pretty big problem. Planet VTech was using Adobe Flash for its login form. Let me put this in perspective. Flash has been banished from the internet in 2020 because it is riddled with exploits and vulnerable to SQL injections. Now, for those that don't know, SQL injections are like one of the biggest security threats for a website online. But what is it? Now, let's say you fill out an online form, and instead of typing in your name like a good boy, you're a bad boy this time, and you put a piece of malicious code, a SQL injection. Now, once you hit enter, the site will take that piece of code as a command for the database rather than just a piece of data. And this allows the hacker to steal, modify, or add data to the entire database of that site. So we're talking emails, credit cards, phone numbers, passwords. Now, today there's lots of tools to protect yourself against these attacks, but at its most basic level, to perform a SQL injection, the website must have a vulnerable input page. And in that case, Adobe Flash is honestly probably the worst thing you could possibly have. So seeing how vulnerable the site was to SQL injection, Slipstream looked through his own scripts that he had to execute SQL injections, and he could try one on the site, though if he was, he'd be committing a federal crime, and he would probably risk his pretty good job that he had. But he thought he probably shouldn't even try, because VTech has to have their security on point, right? Nope. As a 21-year-old kid with his brain not even fully developed, he loads it up and hits
To be
enter on
fair,
the
yeah,
script.
you don't
Bam!
stop developing until like 24, I think.
I have root. That was easy. What can I find?
AKA Slipstream, 21-year-old kid, had complete access to VTech's network. And he couldn't believe it, a $2 billion company with an open door to their backend. Now, at this point, Slipstream should have just left the network and alerted VTech of the security gap, and then hopefully they would have forgiven him for hacking in. But he didn't do that. Let's remember, 21-year-old half-developed brain. So he's in the network and he starts snooping around. And he finds several databases, and they're all big. I mean, we're talking gigabytes of data, which seemed pretty important. Now, he didn't have time to actually look inside and see what they were, so we thought steal now and he'll check it later. So he clones everything he can find and then quickly disconnects from planetvtech.com. Now, once the adrenaline wore off, Slipstream had just realized he had committed a federal crime, and a pretty big one at that, stealing the data of over 4,833,678 accounts.
What?
Holy hell, on the dark web, your data goes for $65 a pop, so times that, that's $314 million.
Oh, he could have just went on the dark web and sell all of that. Oh, damn.
And when that curiosity led him to take a closer look at the stolen trove of data, a pit grew in his stomach. Because this wasn't your average data breach, it was the data of children. We're talking full names, email addresses, questions, home addresses, who their parents are, what's their address, everything. Essentially, anyone with access to this database could say, here is 7-year-old Tom Beck with his dad, Mark Beck. They live at 123 Oakview Lane. His password is 456. Their security question is, what's your dog's first name? Answer, Rex. markbeck@hotmail.com. Pretty f***ed. But the scariest part of all of this was the thousands of messages and videos and pictures of children who had used the tablet. It was essentially the data for anyone who had ever registered with VTech. which is a $2 billion company. Now, Slipstream just couldn't believe it, that he had just taken the identities of children. So he had 3 choices at this point. Number 1, sell the data. Number 2, tell VTech about the security gap and maybe they'll fix it. Or number 3, tell the media about VTech's security gap and then they'll have to fix it. Now, weeks later, Lorenzo, a reporter at Motherboard, receives an encrypted message from an unknown number. It was a hacker who wanted to remain anonymous and hand over the database of 4.8 million accounts from a children's tablet company, VTech. Now, this hacker had made it clear that he had never sold or was going to sell this data. He said, quote, "I just want these issues made aware and fixed," he said. But most important of all, the hacker wanted him to break this story. Now, for Lorenzo, the hardest part wasn't writing the article about this. He needed to verify that this even happened, because any story about a data breach could just tank a company stock and lose them millions of dollars. So yeah, you better make damn sure that you do your due diligence on this. Now, for Lorenzo to verify this, one person came to mind, Troy Hunt. Now, he's known as the data breach expert, the creator of HaveIBeenPwned.com. It's where you can check to see if your personal data has been compromised. So this guy knows his. So Lorenzo sends him all of the VTech files, and the minute Troy opens them up, he is astounded by how bad the whole thing is. The identities of 200,000 children who are on average 7 years old. 4.8 million customer email addresses with their corresponding unencrypted passwords. Now, the passwords weren't stored in plain text, but what's called hashed with MD5. Now, MD5 is a cryptography algorithm
That's just so
broken into
painful
about
to
20
hear.
years, meaning
Holy
that all
shit.
of these passwords could be cracked easily within minutes. But then that didn't even matter, because the secret questions and answers for the whole password recovery were stored in plain text, meaning anyone could just reset the password and use that information for other accounts tied to that email. Now, this was bad, but he needed to make sure, how was this data even real? Because there is a thing as fabricated data breaches. Now, Troy's website, Have I Been Pwned, allows users to notify them when their email's in a data breach. Now, this is like a massive repository of every data breach that has ever happened. So he cross-examined the VTech database, the Have I Been Pwned database, and he finds 18 emails that have been involved. So he reaches out, and it's a pretty big stretch, and he emails them asking for some help, if they'd be willing to verify some non-sensitive data, you know, where they live at and if they had a VTech account. And all he could do now was just wait. But thank God, because within 24 hours, 6 people respond back.
Yes, that's my data. No doubt about it.
So it looked like all the signs were pointing to this data being real. But it even gets worse, because even though there were tens of thousands of children's photos and video files, they were all encrypted, that same database they were in had the decryption keys for all of it, meaning it didn't even matter. VTech had up so bad. So with Lorenzo having the full confidence that this breach, the whole thing happened, now he had the mission of trying to tell VTech about this incident. And I say mission because you think for a $2 billion company, that'd be a little bit easy. Nope, emails referring him to this guy, telling him to call here, telling him to leave a voicemail over here, back and forth, and then finally, after a couple of days, he finally got a hold of someone. And they said, on November 14th, an unauthorized party accessed our VTech customer data on our Learning Lodge App Store customer database, and we were not aware of this unauthorized access until you alerted us. Wow, that's how bad it was. They didn't even know that it even happened. So just days later, November 27th, VTech then sends out this super watered-down press release telling everyone about the hack. But they never mentioned how many accounts were compromised, that nothing was even encrypted, or that even their kids' data was involved. But thank God, because the next day Motherboard releases their article about the breach and reveals what actually happened. And man, people were pissed.
The hackers took names, personal details, pictures children had uploaded, and chat messages between them and their parents. The only good news is the hacker doesn't seem to want to publish any of it.
Photos in the chat log, which is really unsettling information.
What's the one thing that parents should know about this hack?
Probably everything they have given VTech has been compromised.
Front page news around the world. Everyone was running the story. They were just dumbfounded that a children's toy company could make such a stupid mistake when it came to the data of their kids. Now, VTech had to make a tough choice because they were going to shut down all of their App Store platforms for all of their toys for 2 months to fix the service.
How long
Imagine
is this
if you
ago?
bought a toy that did
It's gotta be
not
like
work
over
for
10
2
years
months.
ago, right? It's gotta be
But
in like
even gets
the
worse. This part's
90s.
insane.
No,
So
it's not the
day after they
90s.
stated
It's
they
like
got hacked,
early
they said the
2000s,
hack
right?
was actually way worse than anyone ever said. That those 200,000 accounts of kids, it was actually 6 million children that were hacked.
Fuck.
Wild.
fuck?
So for those 2 months,
6
while VTech
million.
servers were down and
You know, I'm majoring in
security
forensic
upgrades,
digital
they had to
evidence, and
notify
oh my
store
god,
for all of the
data
parents.
is.
They update their website
Yeah, I'm learning a lot
terms of
about like
service.
data
This
and
is so bad.
encryptions and
You
all that shit.
acknowledge
It's
and agree
crazy.
that
This is
any
crazy.
information you send or receive during your use of this site may not be secure and may be intercepted or later acquired by unauthorized parties. Dude. In other words, if VTech ever gets hacked again, it's the customers have no ground for complaining because they already said it wasn't secure. Like, how is that? So then at that point, the government started to ask
Super
questions.
fucked up.
'Cause you can't
Yeah,
just say
it
stuff
really
like
is.
this about their security. Senators would write public letters asking if they sold the data to anyone or did they collect data on kids that were under 12. Okay, real quick. So while I'm editing this video, I found something wild I had to share. So Senator Joe Barton, who wrote this letter to VTech, strangely enough, had his own data leaked on the internet a year later. And by data, I mean private photos and text messages. God,
What?
he's a big boy.
What?
Let's just say Joe Barton isn't a senator.
What?
Because VTech didn't just violate their customers, they violated COPPA, the Children's Online Privacy Protection Rule. And the government said that number one, they failed to encrypt the data of 6 million children. And then number two, they never told the parents that their children's data would even be collected, which is insane to think about today. For a company as big as VTech, $2 billion, the FTC would settle with them for $650,000. Or to put it a little differently, 10 cents a child. That's what your child's data is worth to the government. But the best part is VTech didn't have to admit or deny any wrongdoing. Just a real slap on the wrist. So what's VTech up to these days? Well, they're killing it. They just came out with their Kitty Buzz 3 phone, baby monitors, webcams for kids. They're doing just fine. Would I buy anything from them? Probably not. Now, Slipstream had laid low after he talked to
that's horrible. That's fucking horrible.
And then just 29 days after this whole ordeal, the English police finally tracked down and arrested a 21-year-old man and seized all of his assets. His crime? Hacking into VTech. Now, the police at the time didn't even state his name or even show a photo of him. But the story doesn't end here, because for that unknown
so basically he's not gonna
today we
like
actually know his name.
they're not gonna start a company
Now, 1 year
that's
after
like
the
so
hack, now at
insecure that like
22 years old,
a basic 21-year-old could just hack into it, but they're just gonna charge the 21-year-old who hacked into it, but also warn them. That's crazy.
You're pretty much let off the hook. And honestly, he got pretty lucky, because even if VTech had no valid excuse for being vulnerable to SQL injection, like no one really does today, just a hacker accidentally causing damage to where they had to shut down all of their servers for 2 months and lose out on millions of dollars, they could pin that on him. See, a good analogy for what he did is he brought a loaded gun into the TSA checkpoint and fired it off into the air. He didn't harm anyone, but he still committed a crime. Now, you would think that getting a slap on the wrist and a chance at life again would be some kind of deterrent from illegally hacking people. But no. So just 2 years later, Slipstream gained access into Microsoft's internal servers where he stole over 43,000 confidential copies of pre-release Windows, betas of games, the works. And then he uploaded a piece of malware onto the network, and then he was arrested a week later in June 2017. Now, Clark was bailed out immediately, but he was given no computer restrictions, and then guess what he did? He went to go hack into the Nintendo internal network, and he stole 2.5 terabytes from Nintendo. We're talking
2.5 terabytes, holy shit.
Ever to happen from Nintendo. But the craziest thing is he was never incarcerated because he's autistic and they were concerned of that making him a target while he was in prison. So in 2019, at 24 years old, Zamus Clark, Slipstream, would admit to hacking into Nintendo and Microsoft and stealing confidential information. So in the middle of
I wish I have that power if I was autistic.
About surveillance technology, but the
power to hack into people's
name was credited in all of
like
them,
stuff, I guess.
Now,
I don't know, that just sounds like a horrible power because I get arrested and stuff.
What the hell would he know about North Korea?
I don't know, I'm just rambling.
I contacted one of the researchers on this PowerPoint, and they led me to an article from 2015. Now, a North Korean news agency interviewed Slipstream, and you may be wondering why. Because Slipstream hacked into North Korea in 2015.
Holy shit.
He went in and he stole the only version that we have ever seen of Red Star OS, which is like their operating system that they have.
Oh
now, let me
my
put this
god.
in perspective on how absolutely insane this is. People had only seen screenshots of this operating system. No one had ever seen a copy until Slipstream hacked in and stole it and put it out there for everyone for free to download. Absolutely insane.
That's
if you're
crazy.
in Red Star OS in action, I do recommend Mudahar's video, link down below. So let me just sum up Slipstream's career.
Dude, that's crazy.
He then hacked into Microsoft and stole 43,000 confidential files. He then hacked into Nintendo and caused the biggest data leak.
This doesn't matter. Yeah, holy shit.
North Korea and stole
Bro just deadass hacked into a government's files.
So
Oh my god.
If you're watching this, I'm not condoning what you did, but god damn, is that impressive. Now, times are really changing, and concerns for our data are no longer confined to just what we deliberately share with companies. All of these devices store and transmit huge quantities of data: location, habits, patterns, fingerprints, walking speed. And the scariest thing about all of this is that biometric data carries a new level of risk. Unlike passwords, you can't just change your fingerprint once you've been compromised. Now, companies state that our data is the most valuable asset for them, but when there's a data breach nearly every week due to horrendous security, it's like they don't even care. Because if they really did care, they would do everything they could to protect it.
Alright, I'm gonna, let's see. That's about it. I think I'm gonna leave the hand for next time, and then I'll start coloring in, I guess. Let's see. So, let's check. Yeah, we got the hair. It looks so... Oh, that looks so AI generated. Oh my god. I don't like this part. This part is fine. This part is fine. I'll leave the face for another day. I need to fix it. I need to fix it somehow. Let's see. Yeah, I believe that's it for tonight. I'm gonna go like work on my game and do other stuff. Let's see. Hold on. Let me check if there's anyone I can raid. No, I don't believe. I believe not. Right? I mean, Brew is streaming, but no one's watching. Alright. That's it for tonight. I'll see you next week with, like, I don't know. I'll think about what I can stream. Probably more art. I'll try to finish this piece.